We on? All right. Hello, Patriot Nation. Brent Jones, Brian Pirano, Baker Jones, and Donald Falls here, coming to you from Madison, Mississippi, Maverick Stadium.
Yeah, it is. Nice place.
At Germantown High School in Mississippi. 3-hour plus drive to get here, carrying all this equipment.
Over varying terrain.
Yes. Very interesting. It's always interesting we're on the road, though. Of course, we get up here and our computer is not working. So we had to go to our backup plan, but thankfully
there is a backup plan, though. And this feels
we are on the air.
This feels just like the fall.
Yeah,
this is great.
Right,
yeah.
we do not have the usual bells and whistles that we have as far as advertisements, and we have some stuff from our old system. We upgraded to a new system last year, which is much more efficient. But it's only efficient when the computer will come on.
No doubt, and we know all of our great sponsors, and we're going to mention them whenever we can think of it right now, and we certainly appreciate it. If anybody's watching right now, Brent, they're not watching for the technical, aspects of it. They're here to watch
Hillcrest football.
That's right. See what's up for the next season.
That's why I'm here, too.
Absolutely.
The reason I'm here is not only am I interested in seeing how the team is going to be next year.
Right.
This is year 11. Next year will be year 12 for me at Hillcrest.
Correct.
But also, I'm interested in bringing this to the fans back at home. That's the whole reason we do this.
No doubt.
So we can bring it to people who don't have the opportunity to come to the games. And I know that, well, actually, if you look across the way, I don't know if those are any of our visitors. Those may be visitors from
Brandon,
who's the other school that's here. But, I know that Jessica Centel said she was coming.
She did. Jessica actually was we're very thankful. Jessica actually drove one of our buses for our football team.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
She was very, very gracious. We had her, another one of our faculty. Stephen Langford drove one. And then we had a couple other people that are not on staff. So we're very happy. Football team's here. They're looking great. And a little bit different format today, Brent, that we can talk about as we go on a little bit. But Hillcrest still out on the field about 10 minutes before kickoff right now, going through the steps. And I talked to a couple of these boys in the hallway this morning, and I'll be honest, Brent, as you might imagine, they're just happy to play somebody different. They're happy to get out of here.
Each other up.
That's exactly right. Spring can be a grind because, you don't do a whole lot for a few months. You're lifting, you're conditioning, but then you're thrown into it. But today is a chance for good competition. Germantown and then later Brandon. So this is some solid competition like we saw for 10 games in the 2024 season.
Yeah, and this is a lot of fun. Regardless of how the game turns out, I'm sure, Coach Mitchell's teams are always going to be competitive and give it all they got. But, this is about evaluating your team and seeing where you stand. It's not about winning or losing. Of course, they're going to go out there and try to win.
Absolutely.
And, they've scouted the other team and everything. But it's more about being able to evaluate the players on the field and see what you got and see what you need to work on.
Definitely. And a little bit different format as we're getting situated here. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to play a half, just a normal half, of us versus Germantown to start off, right? You're going to notice that the new quarterback, we're going to talk about Jordan Chambly as we go on, he will be wearing a different colored jersey. Much like college games, he will not be live, right? Basically, you touch him, he gets pressure on him, there will be a whistle.
Right.
Besides that, it's going to be live. After that, we're going to get 12 plays of the JV team versus Germantown. Then we're going to go straight into playing a half against Brandon, then 12 plays against their JV. So a little bit different format, not quite as structured.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the range.
We're close to doing the national anthem.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, when they start the national anthem, of course, we will take a break.
Most definitely.
And let that play out for us. But yeah, this should be interesting. And did you finish? No. You said we play the half against Brandon as well. Did you cover that part? Okay.
We did. We played the half against Brandon, then 10 plays, 12 plays against their JV, and then we're good to go.
Right. It's 12 plays on offense and 12 plays on defense.
That is correct.
For the JV.
That is correct.
And then Brandon against Germantown in Game 3.
Correct.
And we'll probably be on the road by that point.
Well, we will
Not that we
certainly-
don't love
no,
these
no.
guys and appreciate their hospitality,
Absolutely.
but 3 hours is a long time when you're leaving here at 8:30.
3 hours and 3 hours for sure. And obviously, if it's going quickly, we're going to try to give you as much as possible, and certainly give you a good idea of what's on tap a few months down the line. We can see right now, Germantown taking the field with the white pants, black tops, black helmets right now.
Hey, Brian, let's talk about this Hillcrest roster.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, some of the players that departed, graduating just a couple of weeks ago. at Coleman Coliseum, and the players that we have returning. Of course, we lost a few players off of that team from last year, primarily the guy who stood behind center, number 12, Bryson Kimbrough.
Interesting you bring him up. I saw him today. He was at school today. He stopped by to see me briefly. Bryson and I talked. He is done right now with Lafayette for a little while. He's got a couple weeks off. Bryson will actually be here this evening, and then he's going back to Tuscaloosa with the team tonight. So, you talked about everybody graduating last week. Well, Bryson, he officially walked last week, but he graduated way back in December. So
right, because he's been at La Monroe.
That's exactly right.
In college and practicing with the team. Yeah.
So Bryson is doing great, but that also leaves room for the new guys to come in. Right now we have number 2, Jordan Chambly, taking over the reins. He's a rising junior. And I know you've heard, like I have, great things about Jordan going into this 2025 season.
Yeah, I would have to say for this game tonight, that's the thing I'm the most excited about seeing. Of course, football is a quarterback's game, right? You've got to have the guys, the field general, if you're going to be successful at any level. And I'm really excited about seeing what he's going to bring to the table because, like you said, we've heard so much. And we'll talk more about that here in just a moment because we're about to have our national anthem. So we will take a little break right here while we listen to the national anthem. And then we will be right back with more pregame, and then very shortly we will get to the kickoff.
The presentation of colors tonight will be led by Staff Sergeant Ariel Morris, Sergeant Harper Scott, Lance Corporal Marisol Garcia, and Lance Corporal Queen Ambe. And now the playing of our national anthem.
You're right.
All right, we are back. That is your national anthem, and we're almost ready for some football here, Coach P.
Most definitely, most definitely. Back to a little bit of some of the new people that we're talking about. Talk about Jordan Chambly. I talked to Jordan plenty this week. He's real excited, and you've heard this too, but maybe a little bit of a departure from Bryson. Bryson certainly was a thinking man's quarterback. Knew where every player on the field was supposed to go, knew exactly what he was supposed to do. Honestly, at times, maybe Bryson could have taken a chance or two more, but was very safe with the ball. And, talking to Coach Guy, talking to Coach Mitchell, I think we're going to see a little bit more out of gunslinger out of Jordan Chambly. He might throw a few more interceptions, but he's certainly willing to try to fit that ball into smaller spaces. And from everything we heard, he has a fantastic arm with the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I like you said, I kind of love that he has the gunslinger mentality.
Right. Oh, no doubt.
That's going to be fun. And of course, when a quarterback does have that mentality, it's kind of a win-lose situation. You can win big, but you can also lose big.
Well, we're in the home state of Brett Favre, where he played college, and we're kind of hoping for a lot more Brett Favre than Jameis Winston with this. So,
right. There you go. Yeah. All right, so here we go with the Hillcrest tennis.
Hey, let's go.
If you don't have that graphic,
that means
okay.
we have to re-up the sponsorship, right? Yeah.
That's right. And by the way, I think we have coming across, we'll talk about ways that you can help. And here we go, Total Leather for Spring Game 25. It's a deep one, and it's fielded in the end zone, which means the Pats will bring it out to the 20-yard line.
That's right there with Caden Smith. Since we last talked to people, Caden Smith recently, I believe last week, early this week, committed to Vanderbilt. So we're very proud of Caden right now. Still a little bit early in the process, but we're looking forward to Caden's senior year and seeing what he's got to show this evening.
Should be exciting. Here we go. Let me grab this roster here. Got some new names with people with new numbers as well. All right, but Hillcrest with the ball first. Jordan Chambly at the quarterback position. He'll start out his first snap under center for the Pats. Jacoby Harris there with the carry. Straight up the middle, and Jacoby takes it for a nice 6-yard gain to the 26.
Yeah, and as we're talking, I couldn't help but snicker a little bit as we're talking about, throwing the ball around. And, what a great arm Jordan have. You know what, Coach Mitchell, he's still going to establish the run. If nothing else, he's still in a great 5.5, 6-yard gain on first down, puts us ahead of the chains.
Oh, that's who he is, for sure. All right, 2 wides to the left, 2 to the right. Jacoby goes in motion. Jordan slings this one out complete to the left side. Enough for the first down to the 31-yard line. Goes the Pats' Austin Cherry on the reception.
And like you said, a lot of these new names out here, some of these I recognize, from some reps they got last year. And I'll be honest, some of them like Austin, new face to Hillcrest though, but we're looking forward to him. He's going to try to fill the shoes of Jordan Chambers-Smith opposite number 3, Caden Smith.
So 2 plays, and the Pats have already moved the sticks.
We will have a normal clock. It is not a hot clock. It's not a running clock. So it should be relatively real football for the 2 halves we play.
2 wides to the far side of the field. To the left, man comes in motion. Here's the jet sweep around right into Jacoby Harris. He cuts it upfield, moves it down to about the 38-yard line. Nice pickup of 6, and it will be 2nd down and 4.
Big day for Jacoby Harris. I'm not sure if you heard, Brent, but he picked up his first Division I offer today.
Oh, he did? I did not hear that.
He did from the state we're in. He actually picked up an offer from down in Hattiesburg at Southern Miss. He picked that up this morning, so we're real happy for him. And honestly,
that's awesome. Only a sophomore.
Only a rising sophomore
right now.
Right. So, and a lot more offers to come for number 5.
Yeah, he's definitely a star in the making. 2 wides to the left, 2 to the right here on the short side of the field. Chambly in shotgun. Here's the snap. Cherry goes in motion. A completion to the right side, 45, down to the 40, 50, 48-yard line of the Mavericks. That's obviously enough for a Stephen Fikes All-State first down. That completion there to Javion Lowe out of the backfield.
Man, Javion, we saw him a little bit last year in the 2024 season, but just talking to our running backs coach, Ted Sweeney, he is very high on this whole running back crew he has, including Javion right there. I think we may envision him in a little bit more of a role, something like DeCorian did a couple years ago, Brent, somewhere in that. He's lining up at running back, but it's also more of an H-back sort of position.
Jordan Chambly, a little bit of confusion, so the Pats have to call timeout here. Tidwell paint and body timeout. Let's see if we've got that one there. Yeah, we do have that one, Baker. Yeah. Thanks to Jason Tidwell Paint Body for being one of our longtime sponsors.
Yeah, they're an original, aren't they? On like year 10 or 11 right now.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Though.
Yeah. Been with us a long time for sure.
We certainly appreciate Jason and Ava Tidwell, Lauren and Carmen Tidwell. Certainly big parts of the Hillcrest community, and we appreciate that whole family.
You may notice, viewers, that we have a little scroll going across the top. We have a great setup here, but we're always trying to improve it and replace items that go bad. And we have a lot of other expenses as well, and we have a scholarship program for students. So if you're interested in helping us out and continuing the broadcast at a high level and maybe even taking it to the next level, we would love for you to open up your pocketbook and your heart and help us out if you feel the milk of human kindness in your soul.
This is half spring game, half telethon for the Hillcrest broadcast.
Right.
Though.
You see the QR codes.
No doubt.
On the top and on the bottom. On the top, it's just for a straight donation. On the bottom, it's information if you want to join us with ad sales.
And we'll be talking more about that as the games roll on.
Absolutely. One thing we don't have is a scoreboard, though. Sorry about that. Caden Smith goes in motion from right to left. Chambly back to pass. Chambly overshoots this one, looking for Caden at the 35-yard line. He was open between 2 defenders, but Jordan just overshot him a little bit.
And it's going, obviously, we talk about all these players have nerves out there, but you especially have to think Jordan does. I mean, this is a big day for him. you know, he's watched Ethan growing up in middle school. Then he watched from the sideline with Bryson, and now it's his time. And, you know, I get it. It's just a spring game. Not a lot of people are going to remember it. Nonetheless, this is a big moment in his life, being the guy for Hillcrest High School.
For sure. All right, Jordan now under center. Behind him, about 6 yards deep, getting the toss is Javion Lowe. Javion moves it ahead to the 47-yard line of Germantown, and it will be second down and about 7.
Man, Brett, I'm just glad to be here. I know we've got technical difficulties. I know we got all that, but I'm just happy to be out here watching football right now. Pretty day. Great run by Javion. I'm just sitting here looking around, beautiful campus, and great to be here in Germantown as we're finishing up this school year.
All right, so second down, or is it third down? Third down. Sorry, third down and 7. There was an incomplete pass on first down. Here's a little swing pass to the left side to Caden Smith. Caden cuts it up the sideline, struggles for yardage, moves it to about the 42, stays in bounds. He'll be short of the first down by about 3 yards. 4th and 3 from the 42. What do you do right here, Coach?
You know what?
B?
In the regular season, I don't have any doubt that Coach Mitchell's going for it. But obviously the spring's a little different. It looks like
they're going to go.
Yep, and which does not surprise me. Obviously, certain conditions in the spring, as a coaching staff, they just want to see certain things. So I think what may be a little different than what we will see in the fall.
All right, Jordan in shotgun, calling the signals.
I think we got him. Yeah, we did.
We
great
drew
job.
Offsides. Okay,
great job.
So, okay, I'll tell you where that came from. You know, Jordan was in my theater class earlier this year.
Yep.
He's learned his acting skills,
yes.
and he's committing to the character on the cadence and pulling the players offsides.
I think we might need to have a Hillcrest Theater sponsorship for any time that Jordan draws anybody offside this year. You know that? Like every time that happens, you know, Baker, you can hit that QR code. Then the theater department donates $5 to the broadcast.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Jordan in shotgun again. Here comes Cherry in motion. Here's a handoff to the right side, and he's met right in the backfield. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage or a yard. Jacoby Harris takes it for the Pats. It'll be second down. Looks like he's going to be marked as losing a yard. Make it second down and 11.
And going back to that last play a little bit where we were able to draw them offsides, hey, that's a lot of discipline there by Coach Ashley's O-line right there. Early in the season, you know that was the call, was trying to draw them offsides. So great job by the offensive lineman with very few snaps together, holding it. And good job by Jordan with the hard count.
7:33 remaining in the first quarter. Chambly back to pass, looking deep, and Cherry is open at the 17-yard line, but Jordan just overshoots him.
Yeah, and I'll say this, I'm not completely putting, Jordan at fault there. It looks like number 11 a little bit, Austin Cherry. I think he almost stopped his route in the gap right there, and Jordan led him further down the sideline. So there's still going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, especially with number 11, him and Jordan not having a ton of reps together before this spring.
But how about the way the ball comes off of Jordan's hands?
Absolutely.
Man, it spins, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, still first quarter, no score. Whistles pre-snap. Let's see what we got here. We got a timeout by Germantown. So another timeout. Yeah, sorry we don't have the scoreboard available for you today. That's a part of our equipment that is dependent on our new setup. So we'll just try to keep you up to date. And Donald, if you can get a shot of the scoreboard when we go to these timeouts, that might help as well. But as you can see, as Donald sets up the shot, 7:22 remaining in the first, no score at all. Hillcrest has taken the ball from their own 20-yard line on their first possession. They have moved it to the Germantown 37-yard line methodically and taking up a lot of time on the clock too.
Definitely. I think we picked up one first down on first down, but after that, a lot of plays inbounds, went for it on a fourth down, got a first down via penalty. So obviously, no matter what happens this game, there's going to be plenty of stuff for us to work on. But through the first half dozen plays of this spring, you would have to think our coaching staff is pretty pleased.
All right, so here we go. Pats from the Germantown 37-yard line, third down now and 11. Let's see if they can keep this drive going. Here's a handoff to Jacoby Harris. Straight at the middle. He bounces off a couple of tacklers. Keeps it to the outside. 25-20, 15-10, 5. And into the end zone. Yes, or is he down at the 1? He's down at the 1.
Nonetheless, Brent, that was a heck of a run.
Sure was.
If you notice, he got to the second level, bounced off. It was either a linebacker or a safety coming up. And once he hit that corner, he hit the sideline and he got north-south. And I was surprised they were able to get him out. Even as he was bouncing off that guy, I'm thinking Southern Miss is not going to be his only D1 offer for very long.
That's a 36-yard run on 3rd down and 11 by Jacoby Harris. All right.
We going to get the Belly G?
We got a new running back in the game. We've got DeJuan Johnson in the game at tailback, along with Javion. No, DeJuan's right there with the handoff, and DeJuan on his first carry takes it in the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Good job.
There we go.
Listen, that was a heck of a drive. By my count, I believe 9 plays. And what yard line did it start on?
Started at the 20.
Started at 80 plays, 80 yards on 9 plays right there, including a 4th down conversion. I'm going to guess those plays are all scripted right there, and a great job with the script by Coach Mitchell and Coach Guy.
Yeah, and another thing that you got to take into account is everything that happened on that drive. Like you said, a 4th down conversion, a 3rd and long conversion right there on the 36-yard run, some completed passes for big yards. The offense looked sharp, not going to lie, looked sharp.
Sorry, Brent, brand new kicker Elijah Miller on for the extra point.
Miller kicks it up, and it is through in his first attempt as a Pats kicker, and the Pats lead 7-0. That, the Dr. Brandy Patterson extra point attempt. Thanks, Dr. Brandy Patterson.
Thank you, Dr. Patterson. Thank you, Greg Patterson. Thank you to Mally, Kate, and Mia. We love the Patterson family. Thanks for all they've done right there. A little bit back to our kicker. Just talking to the coaching staff, they say, Elijah's new. He's one of our soccer players. He's actually in my first block, and he was telling me today, he said he's enjoyed it. He said he's done a good job. Coach Mitchell, Coach Guy, Coach Patterson said he's got a heck of a leg. So he's going to have some nerves at times because he hadn't played the sport before.
Right.
But they feel his leg is at the very least the same as Hudson Hall right now, with the possibility to grow into more because he is only a current sophomore, rising junior.
Right. And that soccer is the breeding ground for place kickers in football.
No doubt. And certainly Elijah's a great kid, and we're certainly happy to have him. See how he does on the kickoff coming up. And we will have live special teams. That was something that Coach Mitchell was adamant about. He likes having live special teams in the spring.
Yeah, that's unusual for a spring game.
It is.
Sure is.
But, Coach Mitchell, like a lot of other things, which I love, is he's quite old school, and he wants to simulate gameplay as much as possible. Otherwise, kind of what's the point of even doing any of the special teams?
All right, so Elijah is on for the Hillcrest kickoff as the Pats lead 7-0 here with 7:04 remaining in the first quarter. Germantown about to get their opportunity for their first time on offense.
Who's our kickoff sponsor?
That would be Hillcrest.
Oh, that's right,
Tennis.
Hillcrest Tennis.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, Hillcrest Tennis.
Okay, here's the kick. It's a short kick that bounces and goes out of bounds at about the 11. What you got, Baker?
Real estate for the...
Oh, okay. Sorry, we don't have the Hillcrest logo on here.
Oh, great.
For the kickoffs. But we can still say
Hillcrest
they're
Tennis.
Hillcrest Tennis kickoffs, right?
By the way,
Hillcrest, it's both an H.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, since we sponsored it, I will go ahead and plug it. Hillcrest Tennis Camp we will have this year. That will be June 2nd through June 5th, ages 5 to 12. You can contact us at the school, but it'll be 3 to 6 o'clock daily. We would love to have your children out there and hopefully build for our program for the future.
All right, so here we go. Germantown with their first snap from the 35-yard line, and it is complete across the middle. The tackle made at the 42-yard line, a pickup of 6 on the reception by the running back out of the backfield, and it'll be 2nd down and 4.
Yeah.
And Germantown with the hurry-up offense. Here's the snap. The pass out to the right side complete. He jitterbugs through a couple of Hillcrest tacklers, moves it ahead to the 45-yard line. Looks like that'll be enough for the first down and move the sticks.
And we expect this out of Germantown. They're their coach is Russell Mitchell, so it's Coach Mitchell as well. We expect a lot of these quick passes from them out of the backfield. That's kind of their MO, is what Coach Patterson said. They may not throw downfield a ton, but they try to get it to their skill player in space and let them make plays.
Man goes in motion from right to left. Here's another quick pass completed at the 50-yard line. He struggles for a couple of more yards all the way down to the 45-yard line on the completion there.
DJ Jones,
number 2, Keyshawn Coleman.
Right, wrapped up. I'm sorry, Brett. Wrapped up by number 7, DJ Jones there on the outside. So good job by them. You know, we're certainly got some new faces, especially in the secondary for Hillcrest.
Don't have the quarterback for Germantown's number. He's wearing a solid green jersey, so it's hard to tell. But here we go. He's back to pass again. Another quick pass, and this time the receiver didn't have enough time to turn around before the ball came to him, and it sailed past him incomplete at about the 42-yard line.
Yep.
So it'll be third down. Actually, he was a little bit short. It's third down and 1. He was a little bit short on the previous completion, so it's third down and 1.
That's a good job by RD. Let's see right here if Germantown tries something, maybe a play action, try to get deep, or if they're content with just trying to pick up a couple yards, getting the first down.
Haven't seen him run the ball yet. The snap, and here is their first run of the game around to the outside. He's got some room, 35-30, cuts it back up, 25-20, and caught from behind at about the 17-yard line. Catching him from behind is the Pats' number 23, DeMarcus Ryle.
It looks like we blitzed from the opposite side of the run. The run went around that left side, and it looks like we had a blitz on the opposite side. Joe Davidson got a hand on him, but couldn't take him down.
Here's another handoff to the running back over the left side. He'll be brought down by Zay Hall at the 14-yard line, so a pickup of about 3. That running back, Nye Johnson, for the Mavericks.
Continuing our theme of recent offers, yesterday for Zay Hall was his first Power 4 offer. He got a Virginia Tech offer. I was talking to him, and Zay was extremely happy about that. I have a feeling he will have a big summer at camps, and very similar to the other players. I don't expect that to be his last Power 4 offer.
Germantown quarterback takes the snap, hands it off to the running back once again. Good job by the Hillcrest defensive line this time. That's Jeremiah Beverly. No, that wasn't Beverly. That was, let's see. It was number 90 for the Patriots. John Dodson there making the tackle after a short gain of 1.
Well, said that, though. Also, A.J. Love, though, he penetrated from his spot, and he had nowhere to go. A.J. was able to drive him right into number 90. Great job by Rodney McKinney's defensive line.
Second down and 9 now. Quarterback back to pass, completes this one over to the right side. He's swarmed by a host of Hillcrest tacklers over at about the, let's see where he marks him, at the 13-yard line. So that'll bring up third down and about 5 for the Mavericks.
I can hear Coach Patterson right now. I can hear Coach Patterson yelling right now, good job, good job, good job. Anybody near the play in a great Patterson defense knows as soon as you see that ball, you go tackle that ball. So 4 or 5 Hillcrest kids immediately going after that swing pass, brings up 4th and 5 with a little under 4 minutes left in this first quarter.
All right, and with 3:51, as you said, left in the first quarter, it looks like Germantown has called another timeout. Wow, they don't waste any time, do they, Brian?
No doubt, no doubt. They certainly, well, they're using up their allotment of timeouts for sure right now, but just like us, man, they just won a good spring game right now. You know, they had the same amount of time we did to prepare, so their coaching staff is looking to get out there and try to work through whatever plays they may have scripted, getting ready for their offseason.
Okay, I don't know if this is right or not, but I'm going to guess that their quarterback is King White. I like the name King White, so I'm going to go with that. I'm not sure if it's
the only other person I could think would be Langston Branson,
but I like the name King White.
King
better.
White, okay, we're going to go with him.
We're going to call him King White. I mean, come on, King White. That's a great football name, isn't it?
No doubt, King White.
All right, so here we go. Back out on the field. The teams come after the timeout. It is 4th down now and 5 for Germantown, and they will attempt a field goal.
Nate Muzzy on to attempt the 29-yard field goal. 29-yard field goal.
All right, so the snap, the placement, the kick is up, and the kick is true. So the Mavericks get on the board 7-3.
That's a good job by Germantown right there. I don't think that Coach Patterson's completely disappointed in that, and he's working on some things too. Hillcrest, they picked up some, at least one big 3rd and 1 right there where they picked up, 20, 30 yards right there. But a great job by Hillcrest defense.
They did the old bend, but don't break.
Words out of my mouth right there, Brent. So good job by them. Now we get another chance to see the new Jordan Chambly-led Hillcrest offense after this live kickoff. I'd love to see number 3 get a chance to run a little bit.
That would be nice. That kicker obviously has a pretty good leg there, though. He put the first kickoff into the end zone, and that field goal from 29 yards was very solid as well.
I'm going to bet he's not unfamiliar with the soccer field either.
Here's the kickoff, and it will go into the end zone as well.
Jacoby back there with him as well. That'll be interesting. Thank you, Baker. Thanks, buddy.
My mouth's really dry. We're sending our director down to the concession booth to get me some water. Thank you. I'll do your job as well while you're gone. All right. I like these white road uniforms with the blue helmets.
I agree, Brent. Looking very sharp.
What I really liked was the 80-yard drive. Let's see if we can put another one together here. DeJuan Johnson back there at tailback. He will take the pitch. He bounces off a tackler, moves up to the 25, the 27, still on his feet, all the way down to close to first down yardage. I believe he's going to be about maybe a half yard short. No, they're saying he's got 10, enough for Stephen Fikes All-State first down.
And that risk of jinxing things, only 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes into this game. Exceptional job by Coach Ashley's offensive line right now. Both run and pass blocking. Great job there, opening up a hole. And just like the Coach Patterson defense, continuing and finishing the play. As we had number 5 kind of breaking tackles. It wasn't number 5,
That was DeJuan Johnson.
That was DeJuan Johnson breaking tackles. O-line following it, allowing him to pick up a couple more yards.
Jordan Chambly in shotgun, calling the signals. Man comes in motion from left to right. Jordan drops back, slings it down the sideline, and look at Caden Smith come back to make the catch, evade a tackler all the way to the 35, the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown Patriots.
Is a flag down though, Brent, but it looks like it's on the opposing 13-yard line. I'm not sure if anybody got down there and held or blocked illegally, possibly cracked back. We'll have to see. We'll see.
That is, if it stands, it's a 70-yard touchdown pass from Jordan Chambly to Caden Smith.
His holding against us. If it's spotted the foul, it'll place the ball right around the Germantown 25-yard line.
So holding at about the 15. And,
absolutely unnecessary.
I'm going to say, that was probably unnecessary because Caden was already behind the defensive backfield and headed into the end zone.
I'll say this, though, despite the hold, and obviously, we don't want that moving forward. We got to clean it up. You can't single cover number 3 out there. The ball, I don't know if it was purposely underthrown or because of this wind, but he came back and got the ball, and after that, you could already put 7 on the board.
Donald and I were talking about Ryan Williams and his body control, the way he goes up for the ball. That looked very Ryan Williams-esque right there.
Boy, that wouldn't be bad if he turned into that this year.
All right, here's a handoff to Jacoby Harris over right guard. He'll move it to about the 22-yard line. Nice pickup of about 3. We'll call it 4. It'll be second down and 6.
We never want penalties, but at the same time, I love seeing a few more plays of our offense, though, Brent. I love getting to see this new look offense here.
Yeah, there you go.
Once again, I'm going to guess Coach Mitchell, if you really put some truth serum in him, he wouldn't mind either, not loving the penalty, but love getting this first team offense some more reps.
Down to 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The Pats leading 7-3 and on the march again at the 22-yard line of Germantown. Jordan Chambly looks to the sideline for a play change. 7 seconds remaining on the play clock. Let's see if he gets the play off. 4, 3, 2, 1, and no, it's going to be a delay of game.
I think we got timeout first.
We did get a timeout.
We just got a timeout. And he was close, and that's one of the things right there. Once again, the holding penalty allows us to go ahead and get that reps right there, allowing Jordan to get a little bit better of an idea how to get the audible from the sideline, how to get it called quickly, get everybody put into place so that we take care of all of all the small mishaps right now and clean it up for next season.
You were talking about Jordan Shambly being out there for the first time as the quarterback and potentially having nerves and that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, in reading his body language, he looks cool as a cucumber out there.
And that's kind of Jordan's MO a little bit. You know that?
Yeah, I know him pretty well, and you're right. He's just a laid-back kind of kid.
He is. He comes across as nonchalant, but I don't think we need to let that nonchalance in any way indicate how competitive the kid is. It just seems like he has a lot of composure. That's like the word I kind of use with him.
Honestly, the composure, the nonchalance to go along with the aggressive style, it's a good balance.
Absolutely.
You can have too much of one or the other, and I think he's got a good balance of those two. All right, so here's Jordan in shotgun, 2nd down and 6. Play action fake, and Jordan throws it across the middle, but it's going to be interference against Germantown. Austin Cherry was kind of knocked off his feet as he was running the pattern, and that'll be a 1st down for the Pats.
You know, I don't have the replay in front of me. I'm going to watch it whenever we get done and get home, but I'll be interested to see that. It almost looked like their feet got tangled up a little bit right there.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about composure right there. It looked like a couple blitzers came right there, and Jordan did not panic. He stood in there, made the correct read, got
stepped up in the
coverage,
pocket,
and made a good throw, and got the 1st down via penalty.
Boy, he's got some zip on that ball for sure.
Have you watched him in practice at all the last year or two?
No, I have not.
Let me tell you, it's the same way. You see him and you're like, oh my. It's just straight out of his hand. It's a perfect ball.
All right, so 1st and 10 for the Pats in the Centel Home Design red zone. Here goes Jacoby Harris over left end, and he is in the end zone for the touchdown for the Patriots.
Was a hand laid on him? I mean, if they got a hand on him, they certainly just barely got a hand on him. They maybe they tried to grab a jersey.
I'm looking at the replay right now. Yeah, he got hit in the backfield. Actually, he got swiped at in the backfield.
Right, but nobody
got hit as he was crossing the goal line.
Still a big hole for him to run through right there. Great job by the offensive line. If there's that much contact, there's no way I could have run through it, but it would have been close.
The Dr. Brandy Patterson extra point attempt now coming for the Pats. Placement is down, and the kick is up. The kick is good. And Elijah is 2 for 2. Thank you, Elijah Miller. Nice start to your Patriot football career.
2 for 2 for Elijah. I believe he's exempt from my exam, but I will certainly make a point of telling Elijah next time I see him what a good job he did right there. And with Elijah only being a rising junior, we got him for a couple years for him to really hopefully grow into something that is, that could be one of the better Hillcrest kickers that we've seen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We've had some good ones too, for sure. Gosh,
what was the kicker when you first came in?
Oh gosh.
What year was that? 15?
It was it was 14.
14?
It was the 14-15 school year, so the 14 team.
Was that Nunu?
Give me something more than a nickname.
Keanu
Reeves?
No, he was a German exchange student. You know who I'm talking. His brother was Melvin. Kicked before him.
That was before my time.
No, Nunu was not. Maybe Nunu graduated the year before that. Either way, I guarantee you we had a kicker named Keanu, and it's not Keanu Reeves. Yes.
I believe you. But I would have remembered that. That would have rung a bell, I think.
If anybody knows the kicker in 14-15, let us know. That's going to bother me.
I bet you Brad Armstrong knows.
I bet he does, too.
You're the person I would think would know that. Speaking of kickers, total leather from Elijah Miller. It's fielded at the 15-yard line. Receiver cuts it across field from right to left, and he'll be tackled at the 26-yard line, and the Germantown offense will start right there, 1st and 10.
Good pursuit right there, and that's one of Coach Mitchell's MOs a little bit. I don't want to call it a pop-up kick, but one of those short kicks right there and varying the kickoffs. I do think Elijah will have a little bit stronger of a leg on kickoffs where he might have the ability to get us a touchback or two when Coach Mitchell calls for it, but I don't mind that change of pace at all.
All right, so Baker back with the water. Play action pass and tapped across the middle by Zay Hall, almost there with the interception.
I know he dropped it, Brandon.
Yeah,
I know, but instinctually, though, did you see him right there? He held it right there, and he read that passing lane immediately. I mean, that was either a deflection or a pick, hopefully going the other way. Great job by Zay reading the quarterback's eyes.
All right, here we go. Second down and 10. The quarterback steps up into the pocket. He's touched, so he cannot be tackled. So he's touched and down after a gain of about 3, and it'll be 3rd down and 7.
I think that takes a fair dimensions away from Germantown when King can't run the ball, and he will not be tackled to the ground.
It takes self-control from the defense, too.
Certainly.
There. Nice job of Miles Madden of holding up before he hit him. Here's a pass down the field, and this one's picked off at the 50-yard line. 40, 35, 30, and out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
Number 4,
Camarcus Silvers making the first INT for the Pats here tonight, and the Pats will take over on offense with 42 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
Great job by Camarcus reading the quarterback's eyes, but once again, that D-line got great penetration right there. 3 or 4 of them right in King's face. I don't want to say he threw it up for grabs, but at the same time, it was single coverage out wide, had the blitz on, got plenty of pressure, and then number 4, Camarcus Silvers, was the recipient of a relatively easy interception.
Yeah, Donald, if you would, on change of possession, go ahead and take it to the scoreboard so we can update people as much as possible, and we'll try to keep you updated here verbally as well. 42 seconds left. Patriots up 14-3, and with the ball and threatening once again at the Germantown 27-yard line. Shotgun formation for Jordan Shamley. Whistles now pre-snap, and it looks like Hillcrest is calling timeout again. Some confusion, so another timeout for the Pats. I'm feeling good right now, too. Thank you, Baker. By the way, Baker Jones up here doing our directing for us. He has a tendency to be our guy in the
pinch
off-band season.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know what?
Last year's baseball and now the spring game. And
he may be not that frequent with us, but he is definitely not the B team. He is the A team. I am the B team right up here. Baker's done a great job, and I'm sure he's got better things to do on a Friday night than hang out with a bunch of old guys.
I think you just coined our broadcast nickname.
What is that?
The B team.
The B team.
Brent, Brad, Brian. We are the B team.
And Baker.
Yeah,
today, now we got Baker. All right, there we go. Donald, we need you to have a middle name. We need you with the middle name of B sometime, all right? But anyway, absolutely. I like the killer bees better than the B team.
Donald, be good on the camera.
There we go. There we go. I can live with that. This is a nice place, though. I've never been here before. I was telling somebody, with the number of high school stadiums I've got to visit over the last, 20 years, it's always neat for me to see someplace new.
You've never been down to East Cotton Blossom Road before?
And I don't plan to go down it again.
Yeah, you got to go home tonight, right?
I'm going a different route.
Shamley rolls out to his left, throws across his body, complete at about the 15-yard line to Caden Smith. He rolls down inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. And boy, that was impressive right there, because he's rolling to his left, turns, squares his hips, throws in the opposite direction, complete with a dart. And here's an offsides, I believe, as Germantown jumped offsides before the snap. I think it's going to be against them. I don't know if he was drawn off or not.
I'll say this, though. There were 2 people open that last play when Caden caught the ball. It looked like number 13, Jalen Cook, who was lined up out wide as well. He was wide open as well. So I don't know if it was a busted coverage. Great routes by Hillcrest. They actually just waved the flag off, Brent.
Okay.
This probably will go to the quarter. We got 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's the kind of play right there on that pass from Jordan Shamley. That's the kind of play as we run out of time here, 14-3 at the end of the first quarter for the Pats. That is the kind of play, Coach P, that college scouts look at and say, yeah, this guy's got it right here.
Absolutely.
Rolling to his left, turning his body completely around, squaring his hips, and throwing a dart complete to Caden Smith.
Well, not only that, with people in his face. That it's not as if he has a completely free look there. And you better believe, with the success we've had of Ethan Crawford, Division I quarterback, Bryson Kimberler, Division I quarterback, that he is going to turn heads. He is going to get eyes on him just because of the great job Coach Mitchell has done, Coach Guy has done, putting great products out there under center for Hillcrest.
Well, let's talk about the camp in Dothan. Was it 247 Sports? Is that what it was?
It's 247 or On 3. It was one of those.
I think it was
right
247 Sports, a camp in Dothan. Lots of great players from around the state, Southeast, or what was it? And
I think a little bit of both right there. I think certainly some, with Dothan, the proximity to Florida and Georgia, I'm sure they had some kids up there.
Right, and Jordan Shamley was named the MVP of that camp.
Once again, to those of us that have seen him in practice, have seen him at some mop-up work the last couple years, not a surprise to any of us that this would happen, also with his development from the coaches we see. But I'm sure he turned some heads from some college coaches thinking, you know, who is this kid? Because Jordan did not go to a ton of camps last summer after his freshman year. So just like Zay, going to be a big summer for him. And I got a feeling, much like many of his teammates, those offers, once the first one comes in, and you know this, they tend to start to snowball after that.
Oh, what are we missing out on?
That's
we better
right.
check that out.
Well, it's just the reputation we've built here. You know, you come here and you start for us, whether it be quarterback, linebacker, anywhere, you're going to be fundamentally sound and you're going to be a good athlete. Though I don't know how much you follow Hillcrest recruiting, but we got a couple different signs, big signs.
You mean colleges recruiting Hillcrest players?
That's what I meant. Yes, correct.
Let's be clear on that.
Well, no. And they have a big sign in the locker room that says, you know, ACC, one that says AAC, SEC, Division III, where each college coach from one of those schools that may come here, they sign that board, put a little message, and we were filled up this spring. I mean, like every evening when I would look at the recruiting page, you would see different major colleges come there, once again, because of the past success we have and the product they know you'll get from Hillcrest players.
Absolutely, and it's really exciting to watch as we go. You know, and I was thinking about this, and Donald and I were talking about this on the way over here. Last year, you know, we lost the 4 games, and preparing for this game, I've gone back and watched a few of our broadcasts here and there from last year, and the 4 losses that we had: Hoover, Hewitt-Trussville, Vestavia, and Thompson. Except for maybe the Vestavia game, it was a close game at halftime.
And you remember that Vestavia game was the 4:30 kickoff. That was a little crazy, though, as well.
Right. Yeah. And also in the Hewitt-Trussville game, we had a lead halfway through the third quarter. So we were right there toe-to-toe with those big, successful 7A schools and just kind of lost it in the second half and only lost those 4 games. Still a winning record, 6-4 in 7A, closing out strong against Oak Mountain, remember last year.
Very much so.
And, you know, I think that this year we know what it's like to play in 7A. We've got a stronger roster. The kids that were the 6-4 kids last year are a year older, and I think it's going to be a great year for Hillcrest football.
Well, I think you're saying much of what the coaching staff has said as well, where they expect this team to make the playoffs this year, to be quite frank. They expect us to beat one of those quote-unquote Big 4 schools in our region right now. You know, we certainly graduated some kids, but so did they. And like you just said, Brent, getting a taste, probably moving up in class a little bit. Our kids getting used to that level of football.
Here comes the Hillcrest tennis kickoff for the second quarter, and it is fielded. This one's deeper at the 3-yard line, and the tackle made right at about the 21-yard line. Now, wait a minute. Okay, what just happened there?
White, what are you asking?
14-3. We were going in to score.
Right.
Okay.
And then why is it still 14-3?
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. And why did we just kick off? That's a great point right there. My guess is this. My guess is we're resetting after each quarter. Okay. So imagine each quarter is basically going to be a new half.
Okay.
To where
I got you. Here's a completion over to the left side and cutting it through the middle with lots of space. 40, 45, 50, 45, 40 being chased down the sideline and out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. A huge pickup. I think that's number 2 Germantown.
Number 2, Keyshawn Coleman is who that looked like. Took a little crossing route there, hit the corner.
Just went against the grain.
Well, I believe he's 6 foot, and he's listed at least on the Germantown roster as 6'4", 185, rising senior.
Here's a snap and a handoff to the running back over left guard. He will be met right at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a half yard or so before he's brought down. It'll be second down and about 10.
That threw me for a loop too, Brent. I was sitting there thinking,
I was like, wait, we're about to go up 21-3, but now we're kicking off and we didn't score?
I forgot who scored or something.
No, we just got it down there and we're not given the opportunity to punch it in.
That's okay. This is spring game. They want to work on stuff.
Here's a handoff once again, bouncing to the outside. Nice job swarming there with the tackles for the Patriots. Again, coming up to make a tackle is the Pats' number 24, Miles Madden, at his linebacker position.
Miles is a great kid. Miles is the sort of kid, you know, at times Miles can talk a little too much at times, but you just speak to him in the hallway. He's generally a positive kid. If you're around him much, it's hard not to like him.
Yeah, he was in that same class with Jordan in that theater class.
Yeah, wow. Never a dull moment.
Did a good job, yeah. Quarterback back to pass. King, what did we say his name was? King, incomplete at the goal line, but a flag comes in. Let's hit that replay, Baker, and let's see if that was a good call.
King White. And
King White, yes.
Just watching it live, I think it probably was a good call. King threw it up in the air, and our cornerback
got there just a little bit
and I don't
too
think
soon.
Don't think he ever turned his head as well, Brad.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing where he got a little handsy, and if you don't turn for the ball, that's probably an easy PI call for them.
They go stay there. They go stay in front.
You might have picked up on the fact that we're outdoors right now. We're up here on the roof of the press box. The wind, a part of our broadcast crew here today.
Yeah, and we got Coach Walker, Coach Guy to our left. We see them up here getting a bird's eye view, relaying down to what they see to the coaches on the field.
Here's the snap, the handoff. Looks like a face mask against the Patriots in the backfield as the mask was ripped, the mask of Michael Johnson, the running back. I'm sorry, Nye Johnson.
Well, once again, after the face mask, great job by Miles Madden once again coming in from the weak side and filling that and able to make the tackle. Once again, it certainly appears like a personal foul face mask.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw it happen.
Right.
So it's pretty clear, and it'll be half the distance of the goal. Interesting, hey, I have a nice little interesting fun fact here for you.
Okay.
Donald Falls to your right there, our cameraman. He has been for, what, 3 years now?
Longest running cameraman ever?
Yeah, I think so. But Donald is now a certified official for the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
Are you really, Donald? No idea.
He has been refereeing soccer games, and he's going to be doing JV football for high school this year as well.
We don't need you doing varsity football for a couple more years.
He'll be with us on the camera on Friday nights. Here's the snap and the handoff to the running back over left tackle this time, and that's Nye Johnson once again, who gets brought down at about the 2-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and goal from the 2.
That Joe Davidson brought him to the ground. It looked like number 30 right there. Yeah, Joe's never going to be the most confused with the most physically gifted kid out there, but golly, he plays hard. Coach Patterson constantly talks about, well, if he had that motor on all of his kids, we may never give up a point.
Joe is number 10 out there, Brian.
That's right.
Here's a snap, the quarterback keeper over left guard, and he walks into the end zone, and a touchdown for Germantown as they cut the deficit to 14-9 pending the extra point.
Good job by them. Good answer. You know, obviously, you always want to win. If you're keeping score, you want to win. But nonetheless, you know, I realize the score says 14-9, soon to be 14-10. But Hillcrest was about to punch it in when the half, the quarter, however you want to see it, ended.
It makes you wonder if they realized that they needed to do the clock management a little bit differently because they weren't going to have the ball, and then they got caught off guard, not realizing that they weren't going to get the ball back.
I don't know.
We'll have to ask about that. Here's the extra point attempt, sponsored by Dr. Brandy Patterson. Thank you, Dr. Brandy Patterson. The attempt is up, and it is good, 14-10 with 9:34 remaining in the second quarter, which will be the end of this game between Hillcrest and Germantown. Hey, here's another question for you, Brian.
Shoot.
Because we're talking about the format here tonight. All right, Hillcrest plays Germantown for 2 quarters. I guess the varsity will get to rest for 24 plays, but then come right back on the field to play against a fresh Brandon High School that hasn't been on the field at all. Who has the advantage there? Is it the team that is coming in without being warmed up, or the team that's already played a half?
I would say us, personally, just because we've already got those first play jitters out and all of that. And just looking at the format right here, I know it is 24 plays, but it is a split field. So it might be we have the defense on one side of the field, offense on the other side of the field happening at the same time.
At the same time,
it's feasible. I just don't know why else we would put split field in the format that Coach Mitchell from Germantown said.
Well, that's going to be hard to call. You call one of them, I'll call the other.
That might be a. We'll do the best we can. Y'all enjoy the viewing.
That'll just flip back and forth. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to choose which side we're going to focus on. Here's a little squib kick from Germantown. It's bobbled at the 27-yard line and recovered at the 26.
Yeah, DeJuan Johnson got caught in between hops right there. It almost looked like a shortstop who didn't know whether to go back half a step or sprint in. He froze for a second, then he tried to sprint in. It caught him right at the in-between hop, got under his hands, but his teammates were there to recover it. Still,
fortunately for him.
Decent field position at the 25.
Yeah.
14-10 Hillcrest, 9:29 left in the quarter, the half, the game, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
And we got Jordan back out there.
Jordan Chambly flanked by Jacoby Harris, 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Shotgun formation. Uh-oh, here's a bobble snap, and it's caught in the backfield. Let's see, was that Caden? Yeah, it was Caden coming around. The ball was snapped and went out of Jordan Chambly's hands, as you can see here on the replay. It pops up in the air, but Caden Smith, Johnny on the spot there to catch it out of the air and save a disastrous play. I'd say, well, still kind of disastrous because it's a loss of about 10 yards, 9 yards.
Right.
But still possession of the ball is retained at least.
And no doubt, I'm not sure if that was, I think it may have been the jet sweep to Caden anyway, but, Caden, exceptional athlete, so he was able to, catch that ball and thankfully keep possession.
Jordan in shotgun, drops back, slings this one. Oh, Jacoby Harris hit right as the ball arrived. He's unable to hold on at the 20-yard line. It will now be 3rd down and about 16.
Let's see what Coach Mitchell does here. I think if it's the regular season, he might just think discretion being the better part of valor. Take your medicine.
Go route. Go route.
Right now, I would love a go route. What are we doing? Looks like we have the wind at our back, so heck. We've got a 10 to 12 mile an hour wind at his back.
Watch Caden Smith over there on the far side in single, well, maybe not single coverage. You got the safety over the top there. Chambly in shotgun, drops back, steps up into the pocket, slings this one complete at the 35, 36, 37-yard line. That's good for a 1st down. Chambly to Austin Cherry across the middle, zips it in there.
Man, if you notice, looks like he slightly pumped it, came to a second read, saw him, and like you said, that ball had some heat in there. Great job. The route was 15 to 16 yards. He fell forward for a Hillcrest 1st down on 3rd and a mile.
All right, so 1st and 10, another Stephen Fikes All-State 1st down for the Pats at their own 37-yard line. Chambly under center now, hands it off to Jacoby Harris over right tackle. Or was that Jacoby, or was that?
I think it was number 0.
That was DeJuan Johnson. Okay, DeJuan with a nice pickup of about 6, 2nd and 4.
We are deep at running back, Brent. I think we're going to see next year. We're going to try to find any way we can to get as many snaps into our running backs' hands as we can.
Chambly in shotgun, flanked by DeJuan Johnson and Jacoby. No, that's not Jacoby. That's Javion Lowe. Jacoby got pounded pretty hard there on that incomplete pass.
Right.
Hope he's okay over there on the sideline.
You see him standing there. He's not in the medical tent, so maybe just getting a couple minutes.
Here's the toss sweep to DeJuan Johnson. No, that's Javion Lowe. He moves it inside the 41-yard line of the Patriots. Only a pickup of about maybe half a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
He looks like he's coming up a little bit hurt right now. Looks like he's holding his arm, but he's okay. Yeah, coach and staff noticed that, going to give him a quick breather.
Jacoby back in the game. Play clock running down to 11 seconds. Pat's now just up to the line of scrimmage. Chambly in shotgun. I like the alliteration of that. Going to love that this year. Takes the snap, drops straight back, being pressured on the blitz. Chambly is touched in the backfield before he releases it, so he will be down at that spot. So a sack for Germantown.
Right. I mean, similar to when King, probably could have picked up another dozen yards, but we were touching him. Almost assuredly he gets rid of that ball. It's an incompletion. We live to play 2nd and 10. But just the rules of the spring game, bringing up 2nd and 23-ish, something like that, 2nd and 22-ish. And it looks like,
Why?
I'm going to guess Coach Mitchell just wants to get our punting.
Okay. This is fourth down. Was that fourth? Is that the correct count on that?
Not in my book, but at the same time, I just want to. Coach Mitchell wants to get all of these special units out there to give them some actual game reps, just to get them used to it.
Okay, whistles. Let's see. What's the call here? I saw him point in Hillcrest direction.
I don't know. I don't know if it was feasibly a legal substitution. I'm not quite sure what that was, Brent. Nonetheless, it looks like we have number 14, Jackson Metz, back.
Jackson Metz, the punter. He'll kick it away from his own 10-yard line. It will bounce at the 50, go down to about the 47-yard line and out of bounds, and Germantown will take over there 1st and 10.
Yeah, last year, Jordan Chambers-Smith punted for us. Obviously not a natural punter there, so I know that was really something that Coach Mitchell's staff wanted to work on in the spring, trying to get some people back there just to make sure we're ready for the fall.
Well, let's see. The line of scrimmage was what, the 19-yard line?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So about a 34, 35-yard punt.
No doubt, especially the first live kick he's probably ever had, so not bad considering the circumstances.
King White takes the snap, hands it off over left tackle. The running back, Nye Johnson, moves it forward for only about a couple of yards, and it'll be 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, we're halfway through this second quarter, second half, however you want to look at it, Brent. 6 minutes left right here. Germantown with their 3rd possession. Field goal on the first one, touchdown on the second one. Once again, if you're just joining us, the format's a little bit different. So while it certainly is live football, there are certainly conditions so each staff can work on what they so choose.
I see something interesting I want to talk about after this play as far as equipment goes. Here's King White. The man who catches it is the equipment I was going to talk about. He breaks free, 45, 40, 30, 35, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. He is gone. Wow, that's the receiver Ashton Smith for the Germantown Mavericks on the big touchdown pass of 52 yards. What I was going to say is, do you notice his helmet?
Yeah, number 11 has it too, right?
What are those called?
Yeah, I think those are basically concussion helmets, concussion prevention helmets. And I don't know the specific name of them right there, but golly, it looked like it made him more aerodynamic as he was streaking down the sideline.
Gave him better balance or something, yeah. But yeah, that's becoming a lot more commonplace these days. And a lot of people are actually calling for that to be the norm, to be the rule. I know Tua sure needs one.
Well, a lot of people do, if for no other reason, obviously health-wise. But I also know, a lot of our coaches, especially at Tua's level, they're worried about their health, but they also want them back out on the field. So if that gets them back, keeps them safer, I think that's kind of a win-win. I've always thought technology would catch up with injuries and allow them to more safely play tackle football.
The thing about it is that I think the reason the players don't like it is because they think it looks funny.
Of course it does. I think it's the same reason why people don't want to shoot underhanded free throws in basketball, even though they're shooting 40% from the line. It's just, it's not viewed as cool out there.
Right.
And that's all, that's a big part of what these kids want is, to look the part out there. But I tell you what, if you're catching 50-yard touchdowns, I don't know if you care what the helmet looks like.
All right, so that gives Germantown the lead now at 17-14 with 5:24 left, but it's kind of a false lead.
Right.
Because Hillcrest had the ball on the 1-2 yard line at the end of the first quarter, but the time ran out and Hillcrest had to kick off like the end of a first half, and they would have been up 21-7 at that, or 10, 12, whatever it was at that point. Here's another squibber fielded at the 30-yard line and streaking up the middle down to the 42. The Patriots with good field position. Did you catch who that was?
Yeah, number 20, Omari Taylor right there. Good job. He, in fact, sat back a little bit, got it on a higher hop there, got it in stride, Brent, was able to take it up there. I believe last time we started about the 23-yard line with a similar kick, so we added close to 20 yards of field position there.
But, you know, we were talking about this being kind of a faux lead for Germantown.
Right.
Up 17-14 now, but Coach Mitchell got a punt in, which he wanted, and now he's getting a situation where his team is playing from behind and needing a score with a little over 5 minutes left. Here's a pitch out to Jacoby Harris, 45-50, 13 yards, and enough for a Stephen Fikes All-State first down. He's just got great vision as he takes those pitches on those sweeps.
Also adding one more condition that Coach Mitchell may like, only one timeout, I believe, for the Patriots. So, but great job right there. If you notice, he kind of paused, set his blocks a little bit, and then once he saw that hole, I mean, he exploded through it, though, Brent.
First and 10 for the Pats in Germantown territory at their 47-yard line. Chambly, shotgun, 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Jacoby Harris in the backfield. Here comes Caden Smith on the jet sweep. Caden is hit in the backfield, though. He'll lose a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11 for the Pats.
He came out of nowhere. I'm not really sure who had him. I think it was number 26 right there, but great job by him. I think coming from the opposite side of the play. Because once Caden got it, got a couple steps into stride, Brent, you don't see that very often, because he was probably a step or two from hitting that corner, and we might be celebrating a lead if he was able to.
Get on that edge, yeah. Chambly takes the snap, slings it across the middle, incomplete there at about the 45-yard line.
And that's something we may see a little bit more from Jordan this year, too, that may be frustrating. It looked like, you know, Caden had triple coverage on him right then. It looked like we had number 11 who was flashing down the field.
Austin Cherry.
So I think we're going to make sure, the coaches have to make sure Jordan does not fall in love with throwing it to his, Power 5 Vanderbilt commit, or at least keying on him every play this year.
3rd down and 11, 4:11 remaining in this particular ball game. The Patriots trailing 17-14. Chambly in shotgun again, takes the snap, drops back, looks down to the right side, and this one is incomplete through the hands of Jackson Metz. Looks like that one sailed a little bit on Jordan.
I agree, and that's something where he had Jacoby in the flat to the other side, never quite got over to that read, though, but also our punter, Jackson Metz, getting some snaps right now at wide out. Sure, that's Jackson Metz.
Yeah, it is, because Jackson is going back there to punt right now on 4th and 11. So the Pats now facing a situation where they will need to hold Germantown from scoring, get the ball back, and try to score again themselves, all within 4 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in this game. The snap and whistles.
That's on us.
It's going to be a false start against the Patriots. Back it up 5 yards. Metz will kick from a little bit deeper.
You know, Brent, you said, in a normal situation, up 3, we would only have 1 timeout left, 4 minutes. Germantown will try to use clock right here. I'll be interested to see what Coach Russell Mitchell does here. I know he wants to work on things, so I wonder if he treats it like he's down by a score so he can get a 4-minute offense.
Jackson Metz receives the snap, gets the kick away, a high spiral. It is a good one, and it's fielded at the 14-yard line, and the tackle will be made at about the 24.
Yeah, flag on the opposite side of the field. I believe it may be a hold or a block in the back on Germantown. We'll soon see.
Okay.
Yeah, the officials putting it close to the spot where it likely happened, which is the Germantown 19. Game got a little uglier in the second quarter, Brent. I thought it was pretty clean through at least the first, 75% of the first quarter. Starting to see a little more laundry on the field.
All right, so let's see what the officials have to say here. It is holding, or is it block in the back?
Block in the back.
Block in the back, yeah, against Germantown, which will back them up to about the 10-yard line?
Maybe somewhere around there. Be half the distance from the 19, so 9.5, 10-yard line. I remember, these refs have not officiated a game in several months, or at least a football game in several months. So a little bit of a learning experience for them as well. We can see there is only a 5-man crew. I'm not sure what Mississippi or Germantown does during the regular season. I'm not sure if they usually go 5 or 7, but nonetheless, I know these officials like to get some work as well.
All right, so King White, the quarterback, takes the snap, hands it off over the left side. A swarm of Hillcrest tacklers led there by A.J. Love. The tackle made in the backfield about 3 yards deep. It'll be 2nd and 13. Clock rolls at 3:35 and counting.
Hillcrest, 1 timeout left, down a field goal. And it does look like Germantown may be trying to use a little more clock than normal, so they may be working on their 4-minute offense when they're up a score right now. You know Coach Mitchell, Coach Patterson, they're trying to get the ball back. Wouldn't shock me if we were able to hold them here if we do use a timeout, or possibly wait till 3rd down, try to use a timeout there.
This needs to be plugged in. We're going to lose power. There should be a cable right there. All right, here we go. There's a deep pass down the right sideline, incomplete. So it'll be 3rd down and 12 for Germantown. Well, let's see. There's an extension cord, not the yeah. See the extension cord that's plugged in? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Or is that? No, I don't think that's it. Now here it is right here. This one. Here, if you'll call this play, Coach, sure. I can see where it plugs in, and you can do that.
It looks like we got 3rd and 12 right now. Germantown inside their own 10-yard line. 3 minutes left in the ball game. We got 2 wide outs at each time. Play action. Huge rush by Hillcrest right there, led by number 9, A.J. Love. Brings down the quarterback, number 2 for Germantown, King White, down at the 1-yard line. So Hillcrest, Greg Patterson's job, does its defense right now. Hillcrest takes its last time out. So Germantown's going to be attempting to punt the ball. That punter is not going to have adequate space. Some of y'all may have heard Coach Walker over there, and I believe the quote is, "Please tell them don't hit the freaking punter," because he knows we need to get the ball back one more time. Normally these punters have about 15 yards, Brent. So it's going to be a short snap, and probably a 1-step kick here, hoping to get it off. Looks like we're going to have number 5 back there, Jacoby Harris.
Yeah, and we're set up for a fantastic finish here,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
2:42 remaining in this game. Hillcrest trailing 17-14.
Got us standing during the spring game all of a sudden. First time.
Defense did what they had to do. Push them backwards toward their own goal line. And now it's 4th down, and they'll have to punt with the punter standing almost on the back line of the end zone. Hillcrest will have great field position.
I think that's intimidating, had number 5 and number 3 back there on a short field.
Right. As long as, like Coach Walker said, they don't run into the kicker and they
didn't run into it.
No, what a shank of a kick,
that's a terrible spot.
That's out of bounds.
Spot.
Okay, he's walking up now at about the 25-yard line. So Hillcrest.
That's still a terrible spot.
Hey. It's good enough for me.
No, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't.
25-yard line.
I can't help my Patriot colors show through. But that ball was on about the 19 when it crossed the sideline. But nonetheless, you're right. We get a chance. No timeouts. Down a field goal. 2:28 left in the ball game right now. This is great. I think this is probably the exact scenario Coach Mitchell could want in a spring game. His new sophomore, rising junior quarterback with a chance to lead a game-winning drive, or at least a 25-yard drive, to hopefully win the game.
All right, Jordan Chambly under center. Toss sweep to Jacoby Harris. He cuts it upfield, picks up about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 23.
Right, and once again, would love to run to that short side of the field right there. Clock is running. We are not going to huddle. As we approach 2 minutes left in the ball game right now, Jordan getting the call. Split backfield on either side of Jordan right now. 2 wide receivers to the left, nobody to the right. Jacoby Harris in motion. Good ball. Caden Smith comes back to the ball. 1st down to the 7. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. We're at 2%.
2%. Okay, we plugged in?
We are.
Yeah,
okay.
We've been going down well.
Okay, we're at 2%, so we need to hurry, guys. We're at 1:45. Good there, picking up 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Apparently, it's 1st and goal because they're not moving the chains from the 7-yard line.
Somehow it got unplugged. And we didn't realize it until it gave us the warning. Here's the snap and the handoff on the belly G to Javion Lowe, but he's got nowhere to go. He's tackled at the 8-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 8, 1:20 remaining.
I'll tell you what, Coach Mitchell, giving our viewers the money's worth. We're down to 1:10, second and goal from the 8-yard line.
There's a block right there.
Clock running down to 1 minute left
Is
in this
USB-C
ball
on this
game.
end?
Oh, it has to be.
All right, here we go. Snap to Jordan Chamblee, the toss sweep to Jacoby Harris, 5. Inside down to the 2, and as flag comes in, it's going to be a blocking penalty against the Pats.
Yeah, that may be on Javion right there, number 6. You can see he kind of threw his hands up in exasperation right there. The flag's at the 8-yard line, 7.5-yard line, so it's going to be second and goal from the 18. We're probably, unfortunately, I'm not quite sure. We're at 0 now.
All right, but it's still going. Okay, so 48 seconds remaining.
Well, the other side's not. That's USB. I think I have.
Second down now from the 17-yard line for the Patriots. Jordan Chamblee in shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back, looks downfield, and he is hit before he releases it, so he'll be ruled down right there at about the 24-yard line. 34 seconds remaining. Hillcrest will call timeout. Wow. You want game-type stressful situations in these types of games, and Hillcrest definitely has one here with 34 seconds left, trailing 17-14. Third down and goal from the 24-yard line. They need, I would say probably the strategy is going to be to try to pick up a chunk here on third down and then the rest of it on fourth down, or maybe they'll go for the whole thing. I don't really know. We'll have to see what happens. We're still good, Coach P.
I think it's charging enough to where it's not dying, but it's...
Yeah. Just somehow it got kicked unplugged and we didn't realize it until...
We're going to do our best for as long as we're on the...
I'll tell you what we might do, if you're watching, what we might do is we might take a break while the JV is playing, and let it charge, turn it off, let it charge, and then come back again for the second varsity game.
And I know we've got a lot of parents out there, a lot of family that want to see them play as well. But so we'll do our best to get back on the air as soon as possible to make sure there'll be a break between this
game and the JV game too.
That's true.
Jordan Chamblee completes this one at the 11-yard line and out of bounds, or no? Yes,
he got out.
Out of bounds is the Pats' Jalen Cook on the reception, his first catch of the day at about the 11-yard line. 27 seconds remaining. This is fourth down, fourth and goal from the 11. The Patriots either score and win the game here, or they don't score and they lose by a field goal.
That's it. Barring a penalty, I would be shocked if Coach Mitchell goes for the field goal here, but I've been shocked before.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't know.
Tie it up here? Yeah.
I would assume there's no overtime in the spring game, but once again, are we using timeout number 4?
Yep.
Here we are. Okay, that's okay. Hey, using timeout number 4 right now. This is what spring's about. We will see what Coach Mitchell decides to do. The number of allotted timeouts is merely a suggestion in the spring game. Well, that's fine, though. This is exactly what the coaching wants. This is what we want. A controlled atmosphere that's still competitive, coming down to possibly one of the last plays of the game.
Yeah, and just to let you know again, we will take a break after this game, and we will turn our device off and let it power a little bit, and then. Okay, what's Kevin saying? If it's the yellow box, tell him not to turn it off. It probably will not come back on. Not enough power. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
All right, so what do you think the call is going to be, Coach P?
I think we're going to put the ball in Chamblee's hands, and he is going to do his best to throw it up to Caden Smith. If he is single covered, double covered, triple covered, or the whole 11 on him. I think that's going to be the game plan. I know ultimately when it comes down to crunch time, I think you want to put it up in the hands of your best player. And for us, although that list is long, I think the top of it is probably going to be number 3, Caden Smith. Looks like he's lining up in the slot. Nope, he's going to be split wide.
Yeah, I like this, not settling for the tie.
I agree.
But also calling the timeout to see if you can get the ultimate play if you're faced with a situation like this. Chambly lets this one go, and his arm is hit as he releases it. It falls incomplete, and the Pats will lose this one 17-14.
Well, we're going to put lose in kind of quotes right there because of the atmosphere. You know, we were going into score as the first half ended. I mean, literally a play away from scoring.
Right.
And then we just moved on and kicked off to start the quarter. Nonetheless, good job by Germantown right there. Put heavy pressure on the quarterback, on Jordan Chambly right there. Ball tipped. Even if he had caught it, I think it was going to be very difficult to even get the end zone because it was probably about the 2 or 3 yard line.
All right, so still 22 seconds left, and basically all Germantown has to do is run the play out. Baker, where's the brightness on here? Okay, no, take it down. Let's take the brightness all the way down. That way it'll save it. Okay, here we go, and here's a snap and a handoff to the running back. He's moving down the left sideline, and he will be out of bounds at the 38-yard line. 13 seconds remaining in this game, and Germantown still running their offense, I guess, because, you know, it is really kind of like a practice and a scrimmage, so you don't want to just take a knee like you would in an ordinary game-type situation.
And I do think, you know, obviously, you want to win any game on the scoreboard you possibly can, and you see the competitive nature of our kids and our coaches. You know, they've worked hard. That last play didn't quite go our way, you know, maybe some things. But that's also plenty of things for us to work on over the next few months, though. Plenty of film for us to go over.
King White in shotgun takes the snap, and it will be a quarterback keeper, and he is touched in the backfield. 8 seconds remaining as the clock will stop on that. But why does the clock stop there? Okay, now the clock is running, and that should be the final play of the game. So your final score will be Germantown, the Mavericks 17, and the Hillcrest Patriots 14 at the end of our first game, which consisted of 2 quarters and kind of an unusual format. But, you know, Brian, we're about to see the JVs of these teams come on here in just a couple of minutes. I'm sure they'll be warming up and such. But in just reviewing about what happened in that game, it was an odd situation. It's a practice. It's not a real game. Of course you want to win. But, you know, I'm going to say that even though the team didn't necessarily win on the scoreboard, I would say that they won as far as what the coaches wanted to accomplish here today.
Once again, there's plenty of mistakes. I thought early on, the first 8-10 minutes, I thought we looked like gangbusters out there. And then Germantown made some adjustments to their credit. Nonetheless, I'm sure we moved on to the next part of our game plan right then. But like you said, right, I don't know if that last drive to win the game went exactly as we wanted, but we did get Coach Mitchell, Coach Guy got to see everything they wanted to see. So I would consider that a win, but that second quarter was a little bit disjointed.
And I would tell you that, you know, with a team on the field for the first time, you're going to have some inconsistency. But I would say the positive things that we saw today were extremely positive, starting with the arm of Jordan Chambly and the way he delivers that ball.
And once again, I think that's kind of all we were expecting, though, Brent. You know, that cannon right there. I'll tell you what I was impressed with as much of his arm was I thought he made some good decisions right there.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of times going to some second reads there. One time when he went out wide, looked quick, and then that 3rd and 18 that he picked up. So I think he did a good job there, making sure that, you know, going ahead and learning, and maybe, yes, you want to certainly have that gunslinger mentality, but at the same time, you still want to make good decisions, though. All right, we're starting the JV, and this is a little tough to describe. Our defense is going to be on one side of the field. I think that's what Donald has on camera now. And then our offense is going to be the other side of the field. So it's going to be 12 plays and a split field with the coaching staffs on the field so they can literally directly coach. So I think what we're going to have Donald do is maybe watch one possession of our defense since he's on them, and then kind of after 6 or 7 plays, switch to one possession of our offense, though, just so we can do it. I don't know how well we're going to be able to call this, Brent, so it
right.
might just be something where the viewers can kind of take it all in and see what's going on.
Yeah, I think that is a good plan there, Coach P. Yep. What we got?
My phone.
Oh, I have your phone? Oh, I did. I took your phone. Oh, you got your case is the same color as mine. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, a little shade different, yeah,
No
but
doubt.
very close, yeah.
Well, I wondered you're grabbing my phone. I was like, maybe he's trying to use it.
Hey, I need a new phone, all right?
That's all right. Yep.
All right, so the offense, I don't know. Well, I'm looking at the offense, and
that.
Donald's covering the defense. So, yeah, we're just going to have to let you go on this one. And, Donald, if you just want to kind of, once the series ends over here, just kind of come back to the other side, just kind of flip back and forth, kind of an odd situation. Yeah, we're good. We've been, this is.
We need me to go see if I can get USB out of the car.
We can
USB-C.
try it. That might work.
I mean, do you have like a powerful charger or something?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think we've done this before where we've been on 0% and it's stayed that way for a long time.
Well, hey, once again, let's mention the QR code up there. Thank you to all of our sponsors last year. And if you would like to sponsor, Brett, do you have any, and I'm very much putting you on the spot here, what was the average viewership last year? I know, Brad, you and me were texting about it this week.
Yeah.
Like, you advertise with us, you certainly get your money's worth and more.
Right. On YouTube alone, the average was close to 1.8K viewers.
Awesome. Yep.
If you throw in YouTube and NFHS viewers and the listeners who listen on the audio stream, then you've got well over 2K for each game.
So, and once again, and that's a generally focus to the exact area that's advertising us in that Tuscaloosa 69 South, Tuscaloosa, Dr. Brandy Patterson, all the way to Brookwood Medical. So
right.
It's that area. So you're reaching the exact people. You're not reaching people that are in Mobile or Florida. Sure, there's a couple of them, but it's the exact sort of people that will visit your business. So
exactly.
I do think you'll get your money's worth if you go ahead
and here's the thing too. Even if you've got a full stadium on a Friday night for Hillcrest, and you still get 1.5K viewers, that number goes up as people go home and they tune in on YouTube and they watch and they see your advertisement, right?
And also many of the people that are in the bleachers that are big supporters of Hillcrest and that are making a point of supporting people who support Hillcrest go home and watch the rebroadcast.
That's right.
Heck, that's what I do.
Right.
And then they are going to be making sure you get your name out there.
That's right. That's right.
And listen, there are packages. I know you can contact Brent Jones, and he'll be happy to give you a certain package cost and lengths. And we're always looking for new sponsors. And we'll make sure we do our absolute best to give you every dollar that you spend to make it worth it.
Absolutely.
I feel like we've gone through about half a dozen plays, but I can't really.
It's hard to tell. I mean, if you were going to do this, you would just have to decide which one you want to focus on and just stay with them the whole time.
Do you know what makes me very happy? Do you know who's out there running balls for us right now?
Who's that?
That's our Division I quarterback, Bryson Kimbrough.
Oh, all right.
Right there. He's the one actually spotting the ball and doing that.
Yeah, and
talking about a humble kid who wants to give back to his team because he enjoyed Hillcrest. I think that's fantastic. Doing something menial like that, literally what 8th graders do when they're happy. And we got a Division I quarterback home for a couple weeks being willing to do that for his former club.
And, like you said, he's been spending the spring semester with his team. And here's a run inside the 5-yard line for the Hillcrest Patriots. Let's see, to catch that number there, number 28, E.J. Chess. Nice run inside the 5.
Good for you, E.J.
Giving the Pats offense, JV offense, a first and goal, I believe. Anyway, back to what I was saying about Bryson. He's been at La Monroe for the entire spring semester and working with them. When I saw him in the hallway a couple of weeks ago for the first time, the kid has bulked up. He said he's put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Absolutely. We have a great weight program here. Bryson did everything he could nutrition-wise. But when that is your full-time job, you go to class and you do football, you can see that difference when you truly have nutritionists and dietitians and strength and conditioning coaches where that is their only job, the difference it makes in somebody that's an elite athlete.
Right.
You see Brandon down there looking like they're ready to go. you know those kids are excited. They're on the Germantown sideline ready to take it in a couple minutes.
Yeah. Of course, the varsity getting a rest after their game against Germantown. And here is a touchdown for the JV Patriots on a 4-yard run. Let's see who that was on the carry. That, again, I believe was number 28, E.J. Chess.
Awesome for E.J. And on the other side of the ball, the defense right there with a nice 3-yard stop. No idea of down and distance for the defense, but kind of simultaneously, you know, we see E.J. may be the future of a stellar Hillcrest running back core, and then the defense doing their job on the opposite side.
Here's a deep pass, incomplete from the Germantown offense.
I don't know who that is, if that's their Coach Mitchell or their OC coach. You can see him looking at that quarterback. Hey, you've got to get rid of that ball a lot more quickly when they're bringing the house.
You know, when we got here, it was a little bit warm. I was worried about the heat and us being miserable up here, but
pretty nice.
It's turned into an overcast day, and we've got a good breeze up here, and it's really not that bad. I mean, it's still a little bit warm,
sure,
but it's not unbearable like I was expecting it to be.
Say this over here real quick. Going back to the
ahead.
offense, Donald, if you can get our offense one more time. The young man in at quarterback right now is actually finishing up his 8th grade year at Duncanville. That is number 18, Harrison Colburn, right? Had a great career at Duncanville. You know, the Colburn family has come through Hillcrest. We know them well. So while he has a couple years to develop, you know, two-sport athlete, we're certainly expecting big things out of him. So a great job getting Harrison. You know, like I said, today was his last day at Duncanville Middle School, and now he's playing, getting reps here in Germantown. So a big deal for him and the whole Colburn family.
Yeah. He's under center right now. He'll take the snap, the toss sweep to Chess again. Chess around left end, 25-20, down to the 15-yard line. That toss sweep looking good for E.J. Chess there.
And I know oftentimes, you know, we really give Coach Mitchell and his staff a lot of love, but I think it's rightfully deserved. He does a fantastic job of making sure both Duncanville Middle School and Hillcrest Middle School are a part of the bigger Hillcrest picture. You know, they make sure that our coaches go to all those games, those middle school games, which are played on our field oftentimes. So we make sure that when they get ready for the Hillcrest level, the high school level, that they already have a high familiarity with what we're doing here. Got him. Touchdown for Germantown.
Yeah, we're looking at the other side of the field. Touchdown Germantown with their offense on the other side. Colburn under center here for the Hillcrest offense. Toss sweep once again to Chess. He makes a nice little move. No, that's not Chess this time. That's number 35 for the Patriots, Arkell Gladden, with a nice run.
Yeah, Arkell's a name we're familiar with. He's been on. I believe he's a rising sophomore, but Arkell's is a name we're pretty familiar with. Good to see him get some reps. It looks like the defense, at least the first half of the JV day, is over. So the offense, I gotta think this is one of their last couple, if not their last play.
Colburn back to pass, looking across the middle, and this one is bounced around, and is it caught in the end zone?
I juggled it and dropped it.
Okay.
And listen, the ball was not the greatest pass sprint, but I think that was his third read. So great job by the line. But if you look, it looked like he was trying to go corner, then he tried to go underneath, then he came across to the third read. So, hey, good job by the offensive line, but good job by Harrison progressing through those reads.
And it looks like that was the last play for the JV. All right, so we know that Germantown was back here. I mean, not sorry, Germantown. Brandon was back here behind us on the practice field warming up. So hopefully we'll get this game started pretty quickly. Yep. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, so Brandon in their bright, what would you call that, a reddish orange?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think that's as good a description as any.
It's an unusual color.
It really is.
How would you describe that color, Baker?
I'd say red-orange.
Is that not like bowling green?
It looks like a sunset red.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of the sunset at the beach, right?
I know. That's a very, very descriptive term there.
Hawaiian punch.
Baker said Hawaiian punch.
So
you know, he's not wrong.
No, if you can somehow, go somewhere between beautiful beach sunset and Hawaiian punch all together, that's what Brandon's wearing.
Yeah. Well, of course, if you're watching, you see. Can you get a close-up on the colors of that uniform there, Donald? It's very interesting to me because I don't know if I've ever seen a team with that specific color. It's like they opened up the 64 Crayola box and said, "Hey, let's do that one."
The one that's still sharp at the end of the elementary school year
because nobody ever uses it, right?
Okay, a little story you don't know yet, Brent, because in the heat of us getting on the air, I didn't have time to relay it. But Brandon, right? They're only about 20 minutes away, but as they're coming in, I get a text from one of our colleagues whose son is on the team, and they're stopped somewhere to eat or stopped somewhere to get gas. And the Brandon bus got hit by a car.
Oh no!
Yeah, and apparently it was not just a fender bender. It got it pretty good, but thankfully all of the Brandon players were okay.
Wow!
Nothing there. Although I think the car and the bus suffered some damage. So while they're our opponent and everything, and we want to quote unquote win the spring game, nonetheless, we're certainly happy that they're all here and they're all okay, and that they're that they're ready to play us in the second half of this spring game.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Brandon since we're about to be playing against them. And this is the team that was in the 7A state championship game in Mississippi last year. And also, am I correct in saying that the #1 prospect at quarterback in the state of Mississippi is the Brandon quarterback? Is that correct?
If he's not the #1, he's certainly one of the top couple for sure. As you said, the runner-up in 7A last year, so it is a completely legitimate team right there. We're looking for the Brandon lineup a little bit, and we got it here somewhere, Brent. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them.
Oh, there we go.
If we talk about them, they actually have a new coach, okay? And the former coach, the current coach now, his first year coaching high school football in Mississippi was 1993, okay? So he did his 25 years in public school, including time, I believe, at South Panola, where he and when Jamie Mitchell was at Starkville, they were competitors against each other at the highest level of Mississippi football. So while there's certainly been a 10-year-plus gap of Coach Mitchell playing him, Jamie is familiar with at least this gentleman's style.
And I am going to guess that the quarterback's name is Jacob Chancellor, number 11 out there.
It's number 10 right there, but yes.
Well, number 10 is a different quarterback, Sladen Shack.
Okay.
And he's a sophomore. The reason I'm guessing it's Jacob Chancellor, because when you look out there at Jacob Chancellor, number 11, I don't think is he out there at the moment? I saw him out there a minute ago. But he's listed at 6'4", 225.
Certainly looks or certainly sounds the part, rather.
The numbers that, like you said, sound the part for a top-notch quarterback at the high school level. Really, at any level, that's a great size for a quarterback.
No doubt, and you're not state runner-up at the highest level of high school football in Mississippi without having legitimate players, though.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, we have a phone that was found.
And Jacob Chancellor is a senior as well.
That would make sense.
Whereas number 10 is a sophomore, so I'm going to guess that.
And obviously lineups, I will say this, I do want to give credit to Germantown. They're extremely gracious to us, not only on the broadcast, but providing us with rosters and all that. And Brandon was equally helpful, but we did have to pull their roster for Max Prep. So this is last year's roster. So we don't know quite as accurate.
Could have different numbers, yeah.
That is correct, or things may be slightly different.
But now wait a minute. Okay, if that's the case, then it can't be Jacob Chancellor.
Right, that's what I was
because
thinking.
this is he was listed as a senior.
Well, that's right.
Okay.
So we will see.
So it's either number 10 or number 18.
I believe it is number 10 because I'm going to guess he probably did not change numbers.
Sladen Shack.
Sladen Shack. That's what we're going with. If somebody hears differently, I'm on FHS looking for some more info about them. Their coach's name is Lance Pogue. Okay. Coach Pogue's first year here. But as I said, he started way back in 1993 at Winona, not Alabama Winona, Mississippi Winona. And then he spent, looks like 8 to 10 years at Eupora, and then he spent another 10 at South Panola. and then he has been in the private school ranks since 2000 at Jackson Academy and then later Heritage Academy. So his first year at Brandon, but Coach Pogue certainly has a ton of experience, and it sounds like a pretty legendary career in Mississippi high school football. And just looking at this, at least 2 state championships, possibly more.
All right, so the Hillcrest kickoff return team is on the field and ready to go.
On the Hillcrest Tennis Kickoff, sponsored by Hillcrest Tennis Camp, June the 2nd through the 5th.
There you go.
We're going to get our
plugs in, right? We're going to
get our plugs in.
All right, so here we go, and it's actually turned into a nice, pleasant evening up here. Yeah.
I could use a little less wind, Brent, but nonetheless, this is great out here.
The sunset on the field at the 35-yard line.
Is it
drinking Kool-Aid?
Is it kind of a Hawaiian punch?
Hawaiian punch, not Kool-Aid,
that sort of thing, and like a beach sunset?
Right. All right, so the Hillcrest Tennis Kickoff coming your way. Toe to leather. Here we go. It's a line drive kick, and Caden will get a chance to field this one from the 2. He's up to the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30. He bounces outside, 35, 40. Oh, no, a flag comes in. Caden is brought down at the 44-yard line. There is a flag, though, and I believe it'll come back a few yards.
I know it will, and I think it was probably a good call, and I know he got taken down a yard or 2 right after the flag was thrown. But I saw Caden burst through that line, and that left edge right in front of our bench was wide open. You know, the first game, I don't think he had a chance to return one, Brent.
No, he didn't. All of them were in the end zone, yeah.
That was a line drive that got to about the 3-yard line, but that's the type that in about 10 to 15 seconds, Caden has put 6 on the board for us a lot of the time.
Okay, the hold took place at the 41-yard line, so Hillcrest will start out at the 31. Still not bad field position.
I'll be interested to see if we come out with a different game script or basically the same thing. Or is this a continuation of what we did against Germantown, or are we going to more or less start over? I'm not sure what Coach Mitchell has in store.
We'll find out. Well, it may be dependent on the opponent as well and what you try. Here's a handoff, and bouncing to the outside is Javion Lowe. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage. He bounced away from it and was able to pick up close to 10. Yes, he got the 10 yards for the Stephen Fikes All-State first down.
You know, man, Brent, there's certain things I think you can teach, and I'm sure Coach Sweeney has talked about this and taught him certain things here. But he got hit a step after he got the ball, absorbed the contact, still keep moving forward, took it around left end for 10 to 12 yards. A lot of that is just God-given ability.
First down for the Pats at their own 41. The snap. Chambly back to pass. He releases it, and it's complete at the 49, 40, 35, and out of bounds goes Caden Smith. Big first down, no flags on the play. Caden looked like he might be limping a little bit. He kind of ran out of bounds a little bit earlier than you would usually expect him to.
And I get it. The Brandon kid pulled up a little bit, but he still put a decent pop on him as he was going out of bounds, and I certainly don't love that.
Caden coming off the field under his own power, but he did seem to slow up just a little bit more than we know Caden Smith to do. Still a huge pickup on the play of about 35 yards.
Rebecca, our athletic trainer's talking to him now, and he seems to be okay, so we'll see.
First down, Chambly under center from the 26, the toss sweep to Jacoby Harris. Jacoby following his blocks, putting his head down and moving it all the way down to the 18-yard line into the Centel Home Design red zone. Pickup of 8 on that carry, 2nd and 2. That's the thing about Jacoby Harris. It seems like every time he touches the ball, he's got 6 to 10 yards.
It really is uncanny, and we see why he's getting D1 offers as a sophomore, soon to be a junior. But once again, he did that. Javion absorbing a blow, making a 3-yard loss, a 14-yard gain right there. So we do certainly have a ton of talent, not only at the wideout with Caden Smith, but at the running back as well, Brent.
All right, Jordan Chambly under center, calling the signals. Play clock down to 2, 1, and does he get it off in time? Yes, he does. And here's a handoff over right tackle, and that was DeJuan Johnson, on the carry. He does have the first down, a pickup of about 3 down to the 15, and that is enough for a Stephen Fikes All-State first down.
The bigger number 3 is coming back on the field. The 3-yard gain for a first round is great, but number 3, Caden Smith, coming back into that right wideout position is certainly not a surprise, but certainly steadies our hearts a little bit.
Yeah. So one thing you don't want from a Jamboree game like this is an injury.
Play clock winding down once again, Brent.
Chamblee takes the snap, being pressured, throws this one up, and it is incomplete, intended for Caden Smith. There was contact down there at about the 4-yard line. No call from the officials on interference at all. Lots of contact, though.
Well, he had both hands on his waist. Like, he was trying to make the turn outside, and the DB, safety, whoever it was, had each of his hands on each of one hip, each of Caden's hips. So I think in the regular season, if that is not called, Coach Mitchell is voicing his displeasure a little more than he will in a spring game.
2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Caden still almost caught the ball.
I think he probably is going to be disappointed he didn't.
Yeah, Jordan Chamblee back to pass, and this one is intercepted in the end zone. Looks like some miscommunication there. Return down the sideline to about the 25. Flag comes in. But didn't that look like miscommunication there to you? It looked like Caden Smith cut the ball, cut the route to the inside, and Jordan threw it to the outside.
I agree. Caden Smith also made the tackle and stayed down for a second. He still looks a little shaken up over there. But I agree. He was pretty open, as you might have heard. Yeah, Jordan, I think Jordan was expecting him to break that back outside, and I think Caden probably rightfully so cut it up for that skinny post, that short post, and they just weren't on the same page.
Block in the back on the return by Brandon, so that will back it up. New line of scrimmage. Let's see as the official walks it back. Looks like it'll be inside the 10-yard line, or right at the 10-yard line. So Brandon starts there, 1st and 10. 9:23 remaining in the first quarter of this game. No score. Hillcrest made a nice drive there, but threw an interception in the end zone, and now Brandon with the ball. And yeah, that was a tackle in the backfield. Nice job. Let's see, who was that coming in to make that sack there?
Not quite sure. It may have been number 94 for us, though.
Jeremiah Beverly.
Jeremiah Beverly. And you know, Jeremiah, I'll relay a quick story about Jeremiah. He was Coach McKinney's Student of the Month yesterday. And just hearing all the great things Coach McKinney and Miss Williams had to say about him really made me even a bigger fan of him.
Shaq, the quarterback. The runner goes up to about the 12-yard line. That's number 4 for Brandon, and it may be Jay McQueen.
Little bit surprised that the Brandon quarterback's not wearing a different color jersey, though. You know, it's Germantown quarterback as well as Jordan.
That's true. How are the players supposed to identify him? That's a very good point.
Took the referee a little bit of a second to blow the whistle when he was touched down the play before this, because he's not wearing a different color jersey.
Right.
I'd be a little worried if I was the Brandon coaching staff, like you said.
Because it's hard to identify him and hold up and not hit him.
Right.
All right, Shaq back to pass again. Little slip screen across the middle, complete, and enough for the first down to the 25-yard line.
That was a good ball. That was a real good ball out of number 10's hand, whoever it may be. What's his name?
Sladen Shaq.
Okay, we're going to go with old Sladen.
If it's him.
We're going Sladen. Going to number
Sladen
10.
Shaq.
Very good ball there to pick up the first down for them.
Shaq takes the snap. Handoff. Hillcrest defense has him hemmed up in the backfield, but he's able to bounce to the outside all the way down to the 33-yard line, a pickup of 9, and it's short of about a yard of the first down.
Great job with making initial contact, getting that burst through.
Just not wrapping up.
Yeah, I was ready to start celebrating, but like you said, Brent, nobody could take him to the ground.
Shaq in shotgun. Calls the snap, calls the signals, drops back, and he will be tackled. A.J. Love on the sack there in the backfield. Not technically a sack, but he got the two-hand touch sack. Good job by A.J. getting in there with the pressure and getting the sack.
You know, Brent, a couple of these today, they were sacks or the tackles for losses only because we touched them in the backfield. That wasn't one of them. That was going to be a sack in any game.
Yeah, you're right.
That probably is not going to end well for Slack, Shaq, number 10, whoever it is, because he was about to get slung to the ground by big number 9.
Bag DJ to freak up.
All right, here's Shaq back again, and Shaq, was he touched? No, I guess he wasn't, but it's incomplete as he slings it out here to the left side at about the 21-yard line. So it will be 4th down for Brandon, and they will be forced to punt.
I thought he was touched, Brent, but that's okay. Good job by the defense there.
Yeah,
you know
for
what?
sure.
I thought they had a rough second quarter, whatever you want to call it, against Germantown. I didn't think, I think there were a lot of stuff for us to work on. And then they gave up a couple of first down early when Brandon was deep in their own position.
I will say
great job by them.
I will say this about the defense in that last game, though. They gave the offense the opportunity to win the game by pushing
Good point.
By pushing Germantown back and forcing the punt deep from the end zone with just a little over 2 minutes left.
It's a dangerous duo back there.
The punt is away. It is a wobbly one that will bounce and go out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. So Hillcrest will start off their second possession. Good field position at the Brandon 49, 6:23 remaining in the first quarter. No score in this second game of this jamboree.
Okay, I got a probably unanswerable question.
Okay, I'll try to unanswer it.
This is your 11th year on the Hillcrest broadcast, 12th year?
Going into the 12th year,
think
I'm a rising 12th grader.
A rising 12th grader, fantastic. When's the last time we saw both punt returners being D1 kids? I'm trying to think.
Maybe
and
never.
I get it. Only one of them currently has a Power 5 offer, but it's just a matter of time for Jacoby. So you probably have 2 Power 5 kids returning punts there. You can't kick away from them this year with that duo back there.
That's true. Jordan Chambly back to pass. A little slip screen across the middle to Jacoby Harris. He will quickly sprint it upfield to about the 44-yard line. Nice pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
If you have laryngitis this year, whenever this summer happens, just record yourself out of the backfield to number 5. Oh, down the sideline to number 3. And we can just play this whenever
there you go.
Because that's going to happen a lot this year.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, the whole line moving to the wide side of the field to the right. Good job looking it off by Jordan. Then right over and leaving number 5, Jacoby Harris, in space.
Jordan Chambly takes the snap. The jet sweep to Jacoby Harris this time. He lowers his head across the 40 down to the 39-yard line. That's a pickup of 7 and enough for a Stephen Fikes All-State first down.
How many bucks we got there? How many different things can we record you saying this time? What is that, 8, like 32 of them right there? So we got like 32 different sayings we can get from Brent. Exactly 6 minutes left here in this first quarter against Brandon, the second of the 2 halves of the spring game. Little trouble with the scoreboard right now, so we're just giving you visuals, and unfortunately for many of you listening, probably audio. Hillcrest driving, though, 1st and 10.
Chambly takes the snap, slings it out to the left side, complete at the 40, 35, 30. This is Jacoby Harris moving it for another Stephen Fikes All-State first down to the 22-yard line, a pickup of 17.
Are we doing players of the game eventually?
Yeah,
Okay,
I guess we need to combine it between the 2 games.
I was just thinking of that right there. And I don't know if we've given RSV any love because of different stuff, and I'm sure we will, but we love Robin Spence-Vandervoort. She's given us a ton of
well, it's Award Company of America and walk-ons who do our players of the game.
Exactly right. But the post-game show was Robin Spence-Vandervoort? Who was that?
No, she's a scoreboard.
Scoreboard. Well, the scoreboard update is 5 minutes left in this quarter.
Javion Lowe takes the belly G. He moves it across the 20 to the 19 into the Centel Home Design red zone for the Pats. 4:56 remaining in this first quarter. The Pats threatening 2nd down and about 6 from the 19.
Very methodical drive by Coach Mitchell. Kind of what we've come to see here through 4 years of the Jamie Mitchell era. Picking up small chunks, but a great job moving the ball down the field.
Chambly back to pass, and oh my goodness, he is tackled in the backfield. So is that not going to be a penalty since it wasn't just a touch? He slammed into him.
And that's what Jamie's saying right now to the referee, like, hey man, that's not what we agreed upon. With that being said, Jacoby's not wearing a different color jersey this game either, though. Oh, yes, he is. What am I saying? He's wearing the blues, yes.
Yep, he does have a different jersey. That should be a penalty, should it not?
Yeah, Jordan's looking at that kid.
I mean, he just slammed right into him and didn't slow down at all from the blind side as well. That's got to be a penalty.
Well, I'll tell you this. I know Coach Mitchell's not happy with the officiating.
They're discussing it right now.
Well, I'm going to guess he's not too happy with the coaching staff of Brandon either, though.
Right.
Because
well, but, it is kid out there, and you forget, in the heat of the moment.
But you can't forget.
But, man, that was a blindside shot as well, not just a tackle when you're not supposed to tackle the quarterback, but a blind shot potentially injuring situation.
And he does have a different color jersey on.
He does. He has the light blue.
Right. And Jordan, I think he had a couple words for that young man as he was picking himself up off the turf.
And as he should.
Absolutely. Yep. White Hat's going to speak.
Is he just going to say, no, don't do that again?
We're about to see.
Come on, don't do that again. No, that needs to be a penalty. That should have been established as a penalty. And honestly, I got to say that the coach of Brandon should say, yeah, charge us for that. Yeah, charge us that penalty because my kids shouldn't have done that. And I think that's what Coach Mitchell would do.
Well, I think Coach Mitchell would also have
if the tables were turned.
I do also think Coach Mitchell would have his defense, and Coach Patterson would have his defense not doing that. But if it did occur, I can't imagine there could be much of an argument. Now we have all 4 of the 5 officials discussing things with the Brandon coach.
I mean, do you agree with me that that would be the right thing to do?
Well, not just the right thing.
To teach your kid a lesson?
Right. I think it's the right thing to do. I also think it's the correct, officiating call for this game as well.
Yes.
Not only is it a good teaching moment,
but it's something that if it's not in the rule book, because it's not, this is a different kind of game, it should be set as a rule
it's kind of a ground
in this game.
Right.
Yeah, they should have set it in advance and said, okay, if a player makes contact with a quarterback, a full tackle, then it needs to be a personal foul.
At the very least, you replay the down, right? It's 2nd and 10 from the 22 or whatever it was previously. Still discussing things. As I believe you and I are in agreement here, Brent, we're not quite sure what's taking so long here because the ground rule is the quarterback's down by a touch. Because I guarantee you last possession when A.J. Love had number 10 in his wraps, he let him go pretty quickly.
Well, he just came up and touched him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of thing where we expect that to be reciprocated when we're on offense.
And here's another thing about it. If you don't call this, what's going to happen when Hillcrest is on defense? They're like, well, they're not going to call anything. Okay, unsportsmanlike conduct. That's the correct call.
Correct. And I also think that's the happiest person on the field is number 10 for Brandon right now. Because
he would have paid the price later on.
He does not want Jeremiah Beverly. He does not want A.J. Love. He does not want Zay Hall headhunting him. Because you better believe our kids are going to stick up for their quarterback.
Yep, you're right.
See, we're already getting worked up in the spring game, buddy. And we're getting worked up here in the spring football game.
Yeah.
You know what? Not a bad crowd out here. I realize there's 3 schools.
Not at all.
But we see a nice little crowd here in front of us on the home bleachers. I would just talking to people, talking to the person I bought a drink from at the gas station. They were all pretty excited about seeing a little football as well tonight. Brings up 3rd and looks like less than a yard from inside the 13-yard line.
And with the handoff, let's see, he's going to be very close to the first down.
I think we're maybe like a half yard short. 4th and, I think we may have actually lost half a yard there.
Don't worry about it.
We're going to go for it as expected.
Yeah, big 4th down play here.
Got George in the gun, little surprising.
From the 14-yard line, yeah. Chambly and shotgun.
Did this once the first game, and all we did was successfully draw them off sides. As expected, Jordan going under center now.
All right, here we go. And the handoff, and gosh, it's so close. I believe he's got it. Yeah, does he?
It's a terrible spot, so no. Absolutely terrible
Oh, my goodness.
spot.
Let's see the replay on that.
Tell him to come out there with energy. Tell him to come out there with energy. Let's go. We gotta
Okay, the handoff, and looked like he had it, but, man, Jacoby got pounded right there at the line of scrimmage. It was close.
Right.
Tough luck, though, all the way down to the 16-yard line and stopped from scoring. 3:23 remaining. The score remains 0-0. The Patriots twice now have pushed the ball pretty deep and were unable to come up with points.
I think right there, the penalty that took way too long to actually call kind of took a little bit of wind out of our sails, Brent. Looks like we're in a good groove, and then we kind of could not get back in it.
Sladen Shack hands off, and good job by the Hillcrest defense coming up. There's a fumble? No?
No, but I'm going to, once again, I realize They corrected the call. We got the unsportsmanlike conduct call. Got the 15 yards right there. Nonetheless, I'm going to guess this lit a bit of a fire underneath the Hillcrest defense, seeing their quarterback taken to the ground.
Shaq is flanked by 2 running backs on either side in the shotgun. He takes the snap, he hands it off up the middle, and there comes Zay Hall to make the tackle in the backfield. And we've got a penalty right here.
Get away from him.
Get his butt out the freaking game.
We got a.
I don't know who this is on. The wide receiver, number 1, he made the initial. He made the first shot. Nonetheless, we never.
That's going to be called against Hillcrest.
Yeah, it is, and number 7 right there for us.
That's DJ Jones. Yeah.
DJ Jones did retaliate. You may be able to hear a couple of our coaches in the up here putting eyes on it from here. Not happy with number 7 because they've been taught over and over and over again: do not retaliate. Let them get the penalty. And unfortunately, DJ did not do a good job with that. But then again, sometimes discipline, sometimes making sure that you are able to keep your emotions under control. That's an important part of the spring game too. Good teaching moment for him. You can see over there he's being talked to by Coach Ross. Coach Ross, a former Hillcrest player, played at Troy, and now we're very fortunate to have him back on our coaching staff.
Well, look, it's illegal procedure against them, and then after the play, the personal foul against Hillcrest.
Oh, never mind, it was on them.
It was on them,
and
it was offsetting. So it was against both. They called it against both.
Gotcha.
But you're right. It's usually called against the person who reciprocates because that's what the officials see. But that time it was clearly the Brandon player who initiated the first contact, and then DJ Jones responded. So it was a good call to call it on both of them offsetting. And in addition to that, it was some movement on the line of scrimmage, which backs them up 5 yards, makes it 3rd and 10.
One last thing on the offsetting penalty, which was right in front of the official too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was from me to you was when the official was, where the official was. So, we're certainly saying we'd rather you keep your composure at all times, but certainly when the referee's within reach. Either way, 2:41 left in this first quarter. Is he signaling 4th down?
That's it. No, it should be 3rd down. 3rd down and close to 10. We'll call it 9.5. All right. Oh, we lost something here. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh. All right, here we go. And it's I believe he was touched in the backfield. It was a completed pass down the sideline, but I believe he was touched in the backfield.
Yeah, that's a 2-yard loss. Nonetheless, I tell you what, that's a heck of a ball number 10's throwing out there. You can see why he is pretty highly recruited at this point. I do say this, it was a good half a second after he was touched down that he was able to actually throw the ball. So I do think in the regular season that would, if that's not a sack, that's at least something where we affect the throw and it's not nearly as clean as it was.
Right. Because they knew they had to hold back on him, yeah. Here's the punt from the Brandon punter, fielded by Caden Smith at the 45. Here's a penalty flag already down.
It's not the penalty flag.
Is it not? Is that where he caught? It was the beanbag where he caught the ball. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, so the tackle is made by the Brandon players at about the 35-yard line, so a nice 10-yard return there from Caden Smith.
Now, Brent, you're the color guy tonight. And I don't mean like the analyst. I mean as in the expert guy who's telling people what color. Is that beanbag the same color as the Brandon jerseys?
No, it's a little bit lighter orange.
Well, I mean, so
that's more of the disgusting Tennessee orange.
Oh, okay, I got you. So more of that sort of orange, and less of the beautiful orange that we see on the sunset.
Right,
okay,
the Kool-Aid, not Kool-Aid.
Hawaiian Punch.
Hawaiian Punch.
Yes. Gotcha.
And speaking of disgusting orange, we'll talk about Brad here in a second, okay? Annoying orange. You remember the whole annoying orange thing we used to do? We need to bring that back.
Oh, I remember it, Brent. I remember it. Yeah.
Shamley back to pass, rolling to his right, slings it to Caden Smith, complete at the 25-yard line, and that's enough for a Stephen Fikes All-State first down. You know, I'm going to say this because I told Brad that he was going to be fair game tonight since he's not here. Obviously, if you follow us, you know that Brad Armstrong is a very important part of our team. Great guy, great color announcer, knowledgeable, energetic, fun, funny. But, you know, he's fair game tonight.
Absolutely.
So, I have to say this, so I'll say it after this play. Jordan Chambly back to pass and over the head of Austin Cherry at about the 22-yard line. It'll be second down and 10. So Brad's listening to us, and he's texting us, and he says, "You guys are terrible at this."
I saw that. I did see that.
And so Brad,
obviously, all in good fun, but nonetheless.
I have to say to Brad is, "Hey, Brad, the jerk store called. They ran out of you."
Absolutely. But we certainly miss Brad here. Thank you. Thanks, Fake. We certainly miss Brad here. But,
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I know he would love to be here as well.
He'll be with us in the fall.
Second and 10 now as we move under a minute and a half in the first quarter.
Chambly hands it off to Jacoby Harris, who looks to bounce it outside down to the 20, sticks his head in there to a defensive back and moves it forward a couple of more yards to the 17-yard line. Another pickup of 7 from Jacoby Harris.
Does he not? I get it. He's grown up. You know, he's still, if he's 15, he just turned 15, and it's been a full 6 months. He looks more decisive so far this spring. I'm certainly not saying he was sitting there, you know, having to think every play the last fall, but just he seems a lot more confident there through at least, you know, a quarter and a half or whatever we're calling a half and a half of this spring game.
Chambly in shotgun, third down and about 4. Here's the jet sweep to Caden Harris, and Caden is stopped after maybe a gain of a yard. It'll be 4th and 2 for the Pats at about the 17-yard line.
That young man is listed as Quincy Perry there, but they also list him as a running back wide receiver, so I don't think that's who it is. Nonetheless, that was great pursuit by their number 3, because I saw Caden take two steps, and I was thinking first down for sure, if not touchdown. So a good job by him. And
look, now we're going to get a chance to see Elijah come on for a field goal attempt.
And we have a stoppage of play, maybe. Maybe it's just to get the officials lined up with this 5-man crew.
Elijah Miller will attempt, let's see, what about a 37-yard field goal?
That's right. Oh, man, I know his heart's beating. There we go.
Okay. All right, so you know, like we've been saying, this is one of those situations where you want to get every conceivable scenario played out, and we're going to get to do that here with a long field goal.
Not only a long field goal, one he has to think about a little bit. You know, one where he is sitting there, his first high school attempt that's actually not just been in practice against him. In all honesty, no matter how many people are watching, he knows people are watching not only on the field, but also likely his family, friends, you know, girlfriend watching on YouTube. So you know that, and that's exactly what you want. You want him to feel pressure to simulate what it'll be like to kick against those 4 teams that we came out on the wrong end against last year.
Right. All right, so here we go. They're going to mark it with the T at the 35-yard line. I'm sorry, 25-yard line, so it will be a 35-yard kick for Elijah Miller. Here's the snap. The placement is down. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
Nice job.
Yes.
Good job, Elijah.
35-yard field goal. I'm sorry you didn't see that. You had to look at us. No, don't replay that because it's just going to replay us. But we had the wrong camera on screen. But, hey, it was beautiful. Sorry about that. Elijah Miller delivering a 35-yard field goal. Another thing I want to mention there is Joe Davidson on the hold. It was not a great snap. He scooped it up like a good shortstop, got the hold down, and the kick was true.
He was more excited than Elijah coming off the field. Joe was. You could see he did a fantastic job right there. Just as you described, that ball was not going to get there on the fly. Caught it as I was about to bounce, got it down without Elijah having to break stride, and he made a 35-yarder into the wind. Didn't have a ton more, but it might have been good from, I don't know, 36. But it was still dead center in the goalpost. So great start for Elijah. In his field goal field goal kicking career for the Patriots.
Well, let's talk about it. All right, he's got 2 extra points.
Right.
And a 35-yard field goal.
Correct.
No misses so far.
We're not going to say anything about that, football gods, but nonetheless, certainly
hey, you know
a good
me, I'll
start.
say it. I'll say it, right?
Absolutely, but you know me, I can't say it. So let's see what he does on those kickoffs. Seems like he's kicked 1 deep so far.
Yeah.
And then he's kicked 1, it seemed like, or 2 at least, that have been a little bit more Jamie Mitchell style. Not necessarily a pooch kick.
What Coach Mitchell wants is he wants a high kick into the corner inside the 10.
Absolutely, and allow that coverage team to get down there and make the play.
And pin them in on the sideline.
This is a start to the second quarter, Brent, by the way.
Oh, start to the second quarter, okay. So here we go, nice high kick inside the 10. Actually fielded as the returner is backpedaling at about the 6, and he will be brought down at the 16-yard line. That's just how Coach Mitchell likes it.
Talk about on cue right there. Inside the 10 to a corner, up in the air, allowing that deep plenty of time. You know, as Elijah was kicking into the wind with that field goal, rather, and he had the wind at his back there. And it's not, you know, by no means is it gale force, but it is a steady 10 to 12 mile an hour wind. So you could see, well, take our word for it, when he was kicking it into the wind, it didn't have near the distance that kickoff did.
All right, so Brandon with the ball now, trailing 3-0, 11:53 remaining in this final quarter of action in this jamboree. And here's a draw play up the middle and a quick burst up to the 30-yard line by Brandon's running back. Let's see, we have him as Tyler Triggs. I don't know if that's right. These numbers are probably different. But anyway, the running back number 30 with a nice run there, burst up the middle for the first down.
Great job by their O-line.
Shaq back to pass, looking deep down the sideline. A beautiful pass, but also a nice job coming in to break it up there is Camarcus Silver, breaking it up at the last second. Beautiful pass down the sideline.
You're not kidding, Brent. This kid throws a great ball. I will take Jordan Chambly's athleticism and playmaking any day of the week, but I have to give credit to number 10 there. That every pass I've seen, maybe one where he was under pressure, has been beautifully thrown.
That was a touch pass as well. The snap, the jet sweep around left end, pickup of about 8, and it'll be 2nd down and 2 for Brandon.
I tell you this, Joe didn't make the play, but Joe absolutely cleaned somebody's clock coming across that allowed somebody else to make the play. I know Coach Pat would like that to be not 7 yards into our backfield, but Joe Davison, I think he's had a heck of a night.
3rd down and 3 for the Bulldogs. Shaq takes the snap, hands it off to number 13, and he will be met at the line of scrimmage. A gang of tacklers for the Patriots, led there by Miles Madden.
Good job there. Brings up 4th and short. It looks like Brandon is going to try to get some work for their punt team and at least show punt right now. Number 59.
This is the time where you practice your fake punts, right?
Good point. Good point. Let's see if Hillcrest looks like we're in some sort of punt safe, though. We do have our dynamic duo back. Caden Smith, Jacoby Harris.
Here's the snap. The kick is away. It's a wobbly short kick. Caden Smith will field it at the 20 and just go down right there. I think he called for a fair catch, but he wasn't able to get to it. And then when it bounced, he took it and just went straight to the ground.
I think we also could have blocked the punt if we wanted to right there. I think we kind of had a free run there. I don't know if he was worried about giving up the edge or if he had been instructed, don't hit the punter. Let's make sure we go ahead and get the ball back so we can work on a couple more things with our new quarterback. 10 minutes left right now in the final quarter of this Hillcrest spring game. Good job by Hillcrest, up 3-0 so far. Second possession on, second or third? Third possession for us this half, right? This game.
Maybe? Yeah, it is third. It is third. Both times we drove the ball pretty deep and only came away with a field goal in the other possessions. Jordan Chambly under center. He'll hand it off to Jacoby Harris.
Face mask, there it is.
Jacoby is brought down little extracurricular shove there at the end as the whistle had been blown. Actually, that was Javion Lowe. Javion Lowe only gets a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and there is a flag. There is a flag, and it's going to be the face mask, like you said.
I mean, he got him pretty good. Like you saw who? Javion's.
There's Javion.
Javion's. You could see his head almost go directly down right there as he was trying to break free of the grasp that was made almost as soon as he broke free of the line. .9:45 left. 2nd down and 4. 1st down and 4.
Chamblee back to pass, being pressured. He rolls to his right. He slings it. Oh, okay, well, it's a good thing that he was called down and tagged down because he slung it to the sideline and it was intercepted.
I saw that, and honestly, I think they probably could have gotten him tagged down, a couple steps before that. They let the play run, but like you said, was touchdown. And I'm obviously once
touchdown.
Again, he was touched down. not a compound word, 2 separate words. How about that?
Yes, gotcha.
Usually the face mask is going to be an automatic 1st down, 15 yards. But you see in this instance they only marked it off as a 5-yard penalty. Brought it back
are
there
not 5-yard face mask and 15-yard face mask? Is there a difference?
Maybe there is in Mississippi.
Here's the pitch out on the option play to Jacoby Harris.
And maybe I thought the face mask was more egregious than it was, but the face mask I saw was obviously a personal foul. Nonetheless, that's going to bring up 3rd and about 4 for the Patriots.
And a play that's taken out of the arsenal that Hillcrest usually has in a situation like this is that option play, because if the quarterback can't run it and get tackled, he has to pitch it.
And as much as you want the defense to play it honest, it's hard. It's hard for them to do that, knowing because these kids want to get reps, but they also want to win the game.
And that's a big part of the Hillcrest arsenal, too. Here's the toss sweep to Jacoby Harris. He moves it across the 30 to the 31, and that's enough for Stephen Fike's All-State first down.
I'm telling you, Brent, he is hitting that hole half a beat quicker than he did the ball.
He's just got such good vision, and he makes quick decisions, and that's what good running backs do. I've never liked the running back style where the running back just dances around in the backfield looking for an opening. I like a running back that is decisive. Gets it, finds the hole, and goes for it.
Certainly. You're certainly probably less likely to have a big play, but you're probably, especially at the high school level, a lot more likely to not lose big yardage and pick up 3rd and 4s when you need them.
Snap Chamblee back. Chamblee completes this one to Jacoby on the right side. Jacoby only picks up about a yard on this one to the 32. It'll be 2nd and 9.
And I think that was number 6, Brent.
Was it?
That is number 6.
Oh, that was Javion. Okay.
Yeah,
that's going to be hard to distinguish between this year.
Just about to say, that is going to be a DC and a Shamar. That same thing we played 2 years ago when those two were very physically similar, and then their numbers look similar from however far away we are.
Yeah, they're standing beside each other on the field right now. They're almost exactly the same size and stature, and they both have those single digits that look alike as well.
Let me tell you, if they can be something like DC and Shamar, we will certainly take that.
Maybe even better.
Let's hope so.
Chamblee back. He's hit on the arm as he releases it. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 9.
And I know he was wanting more of a home run right there, but if he was able to get the ball, that first read, I'm guessing that was supposed to be that pump fake over to number 5, Jacoby Harris. If he had him in the move in the flat right there, I'm not sure he was taking it to the house, but I think he was picking up 10 to 12 yards, though. That's okay. That's something that's why we're playing this game. That's something that he's going to have on film now, and that may have been the play call from Coach Mitchell, Coach Guy, where they can also learn to adjust to the players' strengths after seeing them in some live action.
3 wides here to the left. Chamblee and shotgun rolling to his left and slinging it deep down the field looking for Caden Smith, and it's out of the reach of everybody at about the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Caden double covered right there. I do think, listen, when you got a SEC wideout on the outside, whether he's double covered or not, he's probably at least a little bit open. So I got a feeling anytime Jordan senses trouble and needs to get rid of it on a 3rd and long in the regular season, he's going to be looking for number 3, though.
Jackson Metz on to punt again for the Patriots. He stands at his own 18-yard line. The snap from Metz. The kick is away. Line drive wobbly kick. Takes a little bit of a Hillcrest bounce and then bounces back in the other direction for the Brandon Bulldogs, and it will be down at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, good job there by number 34, Mason Cameron, getting down there, making sure that ball did not bounce towards Pat's territory any further. Great job by the punter, though, right there. Getting some reps here, his 4th kick, 5th kick of the night, making sure that he's getting a little more comfortable. We're 6:29 left in this final quarter of the spring game here in Madison. I got about 15 kids out there. Okay.
Sladen Shack, the quarterback, calls the hard count, and Hillcrest bites, comes off sides, and it will be 5 against the Pats.
And that was the whole D-line except for Jeremiah Beverly. So, unfortunately, you know, we had one of those that went in our favor in the first game against Germantown, actually a big 4th down. But I know that'll certainly give Coach McKinney, you know, kind of a teaching moment for his D-line moving into the summer.
1st down and 5 from the 40 now. Shack will drop back in shotgun. He takes it, hands it off over left tackle. Zay Hall and Jeremiah Beverly in there to stop the running back. At the line of scrimmage, it'll be 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, good job right there. And you know, I think if we talk about our running backs being one of the deepest position groups on offense, I think that distinction certainly falls to our D-line on the defensive side of the ball, where all three of these guys are going to make an impact on any given night.
Maybe a little bit of movement there.
Evidenced by the fact that the offensive line tried to get off a step early to be able to defend against that defensive line.
So Hillcrest gets that 5 yards back that they lost on the encroachment that they had a couple of plays ago. So now it's 2nd down and about 11.
Brandon getting the play from the sideline right now.
Slack takes it, play action, complete on the slip screen. Good job by the Pats. Zay Hall, along with his teammate there, Marvin Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, D-line putting great pressure on it. Good job by number 10, their quarterback. But then, honestly, there's a lot of good plays. Good job by the wide receiver running back to turn around and catch the ball. But then he was just absolutely overwhelmed, tidal waved by 3 Hillcrest defenders.
3rd down and 11 from the 34. Shack and shotgun, man goes in motion. Shack takes it, drops back, looks deep down to the left side, and it is caught and into Patriot territory down to the 27-yard line on the beautiful pass and catch.
Yeah, the great route there, and he hit him in stride, Brent. You know, I can't, we keep talking about how good a ball number 10 throws, and once again, in stride there to the wide receiver. You know, I think he probably turned his body a little more than he needed to, had to break stride. But a big gain right there for Brandon down to the Hillcrest 32.
The snap, the handoff, Marvin Johnson along with Zay Hall again there on the stop at about the 31. Only about a yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, defense once again holding its own. Honestly, I think we've done a good job against the run game against Brandon. They've really hurt us more in the air and on the arm of number 10, Shack.
Shack, the quarterback, drops back, hands it off, A sweep around right end this time. Inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line.
And that's why I don't talk about things when we do it well. I just talked about how well we defended the running game, and there we go. We give up 11 yards right there.
You have to express your thoughts when you're calling a football game.
You're right.
You have to make observations.
You're exactly
You can't consider everything you say to be a jinx.
You're exactly right. But nonetheless, right after I said that, they picked up that. But that was a little bit different. Maybe we've done a better job defending within the tackles, and they got one around end on us.
All right, the Hawaiian punch. Brandon Bulldogs with a sweep around left end this time. 20, 15, 10, 5, and into the end zone. Is he?
Right there at the 1 yard line.
Very close. They marked him out of bounds. I thought his foot caught the pylon, but I think he had stepped out of bounds before his other foot caught the pylon.
You know, it's interesting. A little over 4 minutes left in this game, Brent. You know, if Brandon is able to punch this in one of the next two plays, it'll be something very similar to what we saw in the game against Germantown. Hillcrest offense having the ball, needing a touchdown in order to win the game with under 4 minutes.
First and goal for Brandon. The snap and the handoff, and a good job by the Hillcrest defense coming in. That's the Pats. Number 17 there with pressure, Jamichael Watson, along with Miles Madden.
Yeah, I called Miles Madden's name a lot, especially in the first game. Be interested to see, you know, in a real game, I'd be interested to see what the clock management was. I would guess Brandon would want to use as much of this clock as possible, whether they put 7 or 3 up.
Second and goal from the 5. Brandon trailing 3-0. Shaq rolls out to his right, and this one is caught in the end zone for a touchdown for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we're seeing a flag there at the 5-yard line.
Okay.
It might be a pick. There was a slight pick that they ran. I don't know if the refs are going to call that or not, but they did run. They're talking to the Brandon bench, so it's probably on us right there. Nonetheless, they ran a little inside route there, and it looked as if we had that inside guy pick him off. It is a touchdown, though.
Yeah, so it is a touchdown. Brandon takes the lead 6-3 with 3:23 remaining in this game, pending the extra point.
Big extra point, though, making it making Hillcrest either need a touchdown or 3 to possibly tie it.
Well, I think it's another situation like it was before. Hillcrest is not going to kick a field goal to try to tie this game. They're going to try to win it.
Maybe. If they're down there, I don't know, if it's inside the 20, maybe inside the 19, 4th and 18 or something, who knows. Put some more pressure on Elijah. But I think you're likely right, though, Brad.
Yeah. All right, so the extra point attempt on the way. 3:23 remaining. Brandon up 6-3. Hillcrest offense will get the ball back. Plenty of time to do whatever they want on offense. Open the playbook completely. Kick is up, and the kick is through. So it's 7-3, Brandon. Don't you agree, though, like with this amount of time, they can call whatever they want. They don't have to rush.
No doubt. I think they also got a couple timeouts, and I was about to say, at the very least, we've seen 2 very exciting games, or at least close games, you know.
Yeah.
Certain good things, certain bad things. Obviously some sloppiness in the spring game. But both of them coming down to we have the ball under 3.5 minutes, needing a touchdown to win the game. So at the very least, keeping everybody's attention.
And let's also keep in mind that these are 2 of the top teams, top programs in the state of Mississippi that we played against here today.
And you know, right here, Brandon, you know, defending 7A runner-up. So these are 2 very, very good programs. I believe Brandon lost to Tupelo in the state championship. Who's the third person back, Brent?
All right, let's see.
Oh, that's number 13.
That's Jalen Cook.
Yeah, that's Cookie back as the third person back.
All right, here we go with the Hillcrest tennis kickoff. Toe to leather. It's a short kick fielded at the 10, 15, 20, 25. Cutting to the outside is Jacoby Harris. He makes a move up the middle, down to the 40. He spins free and is still on his feet all the way down to midfield. But like you said, there is a flag.
Yeah, that's a tough call right there. Honestly, there's been a couple. To me, there's been maybe a few more flags I'd like to see in the spring game.
I just saw it on the replay, and that was very questionable.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Thank you. That's the sort of thing where, honestly, you might want to let a little more go. But that was even if that's, if we're playing Hoover in week 4 or whatever it is, I think that's a tough call, much less during the spring game. But nonetheless, it's going to be, looks like first down around the Hillcrest 17.5-yard line.
What a return by Jacoby Harris, though.
Cut inside.
Yeah, the way he cut that back and looked like he was going to be brought down at about the 42, but he spun and broke tackles and made it all the way to midfield. You're right, though. That's going to be exciting to watch this year with Jacoby Harris and Caden Smith back there at the same time. It's, choose your poison if you're kicking.
And that's the thing. And I don't know if they'll go with 3 deep on the regular season, if they'll stay with 2 deep, right? But they're like you said, pick your poison. There's nobody you can kick the ball away from at that point. Let's see what we got.
All right, 3:09 remaining in this game. Hillcrest down 7-3. Jordan Chamblee hands it off to Jacoby, and Jacoby's got that's Javion Lowe that time. He's got nowhere to go. He'll lose about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11.
And let's not forget, honestly, we're sitting up here wanting to run the 4-minute offense, running to make sure we're getting down there and try to win the game with a touchdown. Coach Mitchell may have other plans. He may want to make sure, may get another possession of scripted stuff.
Waiting for the officials. Blow the play clock to start. Here's the snap. Chamblee back to pass. This one gets tipped in the backfield. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 2:27 left and makes it 3rd down and 11.
Brent, tell me if I'm wrong with this. I think we've seen Jordan, especially at the beginning of these games, when he's had a little more time, when he's been able to get the play and kind of maybe process it a little bit more. It's been a little bit more comfortable. In these last couple drives where it's had to be quick, to me, he struggled a little more there, which is to be expected.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Because he's had to think more quickly on his feet than probably he's ever been used to.
Yeah. Caden Smith goes in motion, left to right. Jordan gets the snap, drops back, steps up into the pocket, releases this one over the head of Caden Smith at about the 32-yard line, incomplete, and that will bring up 4th down and 11 here with 2:21 remaining.
Yeah, and once again, if this was the regular season, I have a feeling Coach Mitchell might be going for it, but it's not. So we're going to sit here and we're probably going to try to get.
Going to kick it away.
Yeah,
yep.
We're going to get Logan. We're going to get Logan Metz, Jackson Metz. Should get Jackson Metz back there for his 5th or 6th punt this evening.
That's a nice kick by Jackson Metz. Bounces, takes a little bit of a Hillcrest bounce inside the 40. Now more of a Hillcrest bounce. And down at the 36, Brad Armstrong would be happy that the Patriots' number 21, Caden Treadway, did not touch the ball before it stopped rolling.
I don't think he would. Okay, here's why. We're down 4 points. All right, there's 2 minutes and 6 seconds. We gained 3 yards,
away, yeah.
but we took 5 seconds.
You're right.
I agree with Brad.
It's a good point.
100%. But I got a feeling there, it's like time and situation right there when you're like, I regular one 100%, but there, man, let's save 5 seconds because we got to get the ball back if we have any chance. No, if Brad is watching somewhere, and he might be with Griffin with tennis right now by now, I would guess he's probably saying the same thing now.
All right, here's a handoff. Marvin Johnson makes the tackle after a couple of yards at about the 38. 1:58 remaining. Now, does Hillcrest just let it run, or it looks like they're just going to let it run?
Now, we have 2 timeouts left, so we'd have to let one play run. If we stop them here, I'll be interested to see if Coach Mitchell decides to take one. Brandon's got another game coming up.
I think that if it's a normal game situation, you stop the clock there.
No doubt. No doubt. Brandon is going to use all, or at least allow the play clock now at 10 seconds. They're probably going to use as much of it as they can.
There's the flag.
I believe it's 59. You can hear Coach Walker maybe on the broadcast saying he's lined up outside. Look like Hunter Wilson. Looks like his helmet was in the neutral zone. I'm not sure that's what the call is, but his helmet was in the neutral zone. Oh, I am wrong.
They called a false start.
Okay.
Against Brandon.
Wish there was a little more time on the play clock when that happened, but nonetheless, we'll certainly take the 5 yards. Let's see if we can get a stop here, Brent. Certainly give Coach Mitchell the opportunity to use one of his timeouts.
Now, isn't this one of those situations? I know it's a spring game, but it puts your defense in the situation where you have the opportunity to stop, call timeouts, and have a last-second miracle win. That's a good scenario to be in a pressure situation.
I'm thinking the same way you are, but I'm not sure Coach Mitchell's thinking that. We will certainly see if we're able to stop them on this second down play.
The snap and the handoff and the tackle made in the backfield. Nice job by Camarcus Silvers coming back there to make the tackle. 3rd down and long, 3rd and 15, 1:10 remaining. And has Hillcrest called a timeout?
Yes, we have. We did. We called the timeout immediately after the whistle was blown, stopping the play. Hillcrest second of who knows how many timeouts. We believe 3, although I think in the first game we used 4 just because of the format we're allowed to do so. So it's going to be third and 15 or 16 right here. Well, let's see if Brandon actually decides to throw the ball. To me, their strongest player has been that number 10 right there, Shaq, or if they make us keep the ball on the ground, make us use that final timeout, and then just are content throwing the ball.
That's an interesting comment there, because you're right. If you throw the ball, Bear Bryant would always say, when you put the ball in the air, there are 3 things that can happen, and 2 of them are bad.
Absolutely. I would think he keeps it on the ground. But I know we keep harking on this. It is the spring game. So maybe he wants to see if his quarterback is able to do something like this, be able to get the ball downfield when necessary. Because 1 first down and this ball game's over. That being said, it is 3rd and 15.
Right. Here's the snap, and it is a handoff around right end, and the running back is stopped at the 39-yard line. A nice little pickup, but still well short of the first down by about 8 yards. Another timeout taken by Hillcrest. It's 4th down for Brandon, and they probably will punt here. 1:02 remaining, and Hillcrest and Jordan Chambly and Jacoby Harris and Caden Smith and the Hillcrest offense will have one more opportunity for a miracle finish.
Yeah, and he's punting into the wind, Brent, so we will see. I don't believe we've seen the Brandon punter this evening, though. Yes, we have. We've seen one where he had to somewhat fair catch it, I guess. But nonetheless, it is into the wind. So we'll see if we can have one of our 2 dynamic duos back there. See if they can make the catch cleanly in space.
No,
11 are on the field right now. We're a little bit unsure of ourselves.
Here's the snap. Punter fields it, gets it away. Fair catch called for by Caden Smith at the 35-yard line. So Hillcrest has 65 yards to go to try to win this game and 56 seconds.
Now, I think we both, when we got the ball with 3 left or thereabout, Coach Mitchell, it was going to be touchdown or broke, right? I'll be interested to see here. No timeouts, 56 seconds left. If wind at our back, if we get into reasonable field goal range, inside, let's say 45 yards with our, with the wind of our back, does Coach Mitchell allow our new kicker Elijah Mitchell to go out there and try to tie the game and probably end the game with a tie?
All right, so Chambly with 2 wides to the right, 2 to the left. Man comes in motion. That's Caden Smith. Quick swing pass to Caden to try to give him some room on the outside. He moves it forward to about the 39-yard line. Pickup of 5. The clock remains running 45 seconds. Actually, the clock is stopped. Now it's rolling. 40 seconds and counting.
Yeah, I think although he picked up a couple, he cut that slightly inside. I know if he had to do it over again, he'd probably get out to the sideline and probably not pick up as many yards but stop the clock, Brent.
Down to 30. Here comes Jalen Cook in motion from left to right. Chamblee rolls to his right, looks downfield, slings it incomplete. Go ahead with what you were going to say there.
He had number. We saw right there, Austin Cherry kind of broke it in there. He broke his route off. And if Jordan, if he'd been on the same page and seen it immediately, he had it for about a 14-yard gain. That's, once again, trying to get the timing right, trying to get everything done. It's definitely growing pains for our soon-to-be junior quarterback.
20 seconds remaining, 3rd down and 5 from the 39 for the Pats, but they got to score a touchdown. Chamblee rolls to his right, completes this one to Jalen Cook. Cook gets out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. 13 seconds left, and it will be 4th down. So
you're right. I was talking about trying to get a field goal earlier, and that the only reason they would do that is to try to give them some sort of thing. But being down 4, you're right. At this point, maybe get a 4th down and then try to throw up a Hail Mary.
But can you pick up a 1st down here, and can you stop the clock again? I don't know how many timeouts we have left. If you can't do that, just do the belly G, pick up the 1st down.
The clock stops, then go spike it. Yep.
The clock stops to move the chains.
Right.
Or do you just go ahead and sling it down the field? We'll find out shortly. Here comes the snap. Chamblee completes it to the right side to Jacoby Harris down at the 48-yard line. That is enough for the 1st down. 10 seconds remaining. Pats at their own 48.
We'll see, and we all know Jordan has the arm to chunk this in the end zone with or without the
You got 2 plays left, though, possibly.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Maybe they try something similar where they swing it out wide, pick up, 5 to 8 yards, and then you try the jump ball in the end zone.
The snap, Chamblee back, stepping into the pocket, delivering the pass complete and out of bounds at about the 42-yard line to Jackson Metz. 5 seconds left now, and this one will be the chunk to the end zone.
Well, let's see what we got.
Maybe some kind of trick play.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, I know.
What did you say about 11 laterals? Would you like that?
What was it, 11 against what Tom Curry?
That's what it was,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, well, I want 12 then, all right? What we can call this.
I don't think the stakes are quite as high here.
No, this would be the Spring Game Spectacular.
You already got a good name for it, right?
I want to make sure. I want to make sure I get name credit if it happens.
Absolutely.
Yep. We'll see. Play clock is winding down. We might just take the 5 and then throw it up in the air, see what we get.
Your best one was the night the lights went out on County.
Well, once again, that was pretty good, especially with it being, honestly, just kind of happening because the game took forever, and then the lights were programmed to go off at 10 o'clock. Is that 2021, I believe?
Is that when it was?
And real quick, and I meant to do this last time. I can do this in the post game.
Okay.
Well, we will see. Actually, we'll get to see County High on our field for the first time in 4 years coming up this year, though. So that'll be pretty exciting.
Brian, I have to ask you.
Do
you? All right. You're 49, about to turn 50, right? I'm 60.
Correct, right.
If we score here, are you going to give me a high 5 or a low 5?
I'm going to give you a high 5 and try not to throw my back out.
Now, my question is, do you remember when there were only low 5s and the high 5 didn't even really exist?
I do not.
You don't remember that? Because I do. Because the high 5 wasn't invented, we'll say, until the 80s.
By who?
Late 70s. My recall is Magic Johnson and Greg Kelser for the Michigan State basketball team.
Is that against the
They started doing because everybody used to do the low 5s, right?
Right.
But now nobody does that anymore. It's always a high 5.
Honestly, that's news to me. I'll take your word for it.
I told Baker I was going to talk about that on the air because he brought it up to me, so I had to bring it up. Hey, but you'll give me a high 5 if we win it here, right?
Absolutely, I will.
All right, here we go. 5 seconds left. Chamblee in shotgun. He drops back. He rolls to his right. He looks downfield. He's being pursued. Scrambles out of trouble. Still running downfield. Slings it toward the goal line, and it is picked off at the 5-yard line. And, oh, my goodness, Jacoby Harris sticks his foot out and trips the player. But anyway, that will end the game. the Patriots will fall to the Brandon Bulldogs 7-3, and that'll wrap things up for us. I tell you what we're going to do here, Brian. We're going to talk for a minute, give our MVPs and all that kind of stuff. However, the JV is going to be playing here in just a minute with their plays against Brandon. And what I would like to do is let Donald, if you'll continue on shooting video of the games, and we're going to try to break down as much as we can, but still leave the broadcast on air.
Yeah, and after, I would real quick, before we do any of this, I just do want to, all of our viewers and listeners out there, first of all, don't forget the QR code. We'd love for you to sponsor us. But real quick, I just want to run down the schedule real quick.
Oh, do it, please. Please do it.
You know, we're going to start the year up in Florence, Alabama on the 22nd of August against Florence, okay? And then the following week, we'll host Sparkman. And then we got a tough 2 weeks. On September the 5th, we travel to Hoover. The following week, we travel to Vestavia. And then on the 19th of September, we're going to come back and host Hewitt. Then on the 26th, we'll go to Hueytown in the non-region game. And then mark your calendars, October the 3rd, we'll play Tuscaloosa County. On October the 10th, we travel to Alabaster to face the Warriors. Then to end the season, on October 17th and October 24th, we play Prattville and Oak Mountain, respectively. So certainly would love to see all of you guys in Roy Johnson Stadium on the 29th as we play Sparkman. And if you can't make the Florence trip, a good 2.5 hours away, we certainly hope that you tune in to watch that broadcast, because God willing, we'll be in Florence for that game.
Hope so, and maybe our computer will turn on.
We'll be good to go. We'll be good to go.
All right, so let's do this here, Brian. Well, first of all, of course, we didn't have any RSV Design scores to call out on the RSV Design scoreboard, but we do appreciate Robin Spence Vanderford and her sponsorship. She's been around for a long time with us as well. But I think we can do one scoreboard update if you want to look it up. We've got a Game 6 going on right now in the NBA between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. So check that score, and we'll give you a quick update on the RSV Design scoreboard
Celtics
update.
In Madison Square Garden without Jason Tatum. Another scoreboard update. The Braves are beating the Red Sox 2-1 in the 8th inning.
What do you got here?
We got right now.
Oh, goodness gracious!
The C's are taking the Jason Tatumless C's. The Celtics are taking it on the chin. 42-26 halfway through the second quarter at MSG in New York.
Wow.
And then we'll have one Game 7 in the NBA. It'll be Monday night. We'll see the.
That's right.
We'll see
the
Nikola
MVP
Jokic.
clash.
We'll see Nikola Jokic, absolutely, and his Denver Nuggets travel to Oklahoma City to play Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in his Oklahoma City Thunder.
All right. So as you see the action on the field between the junior varsities, an interception there by Brandon. It's a split field again with the JV. We've got the offense against defense on one side for Hillcrest on offense and Brandon on defense. And on the other side, we've got the Brandon offense against the Hillcrest defense. Kind of confusing to follow. Donald's just going to keep it going while he can. And while this is going on, let's go back and let's name some MVPs. Sure. Thanks so much to Award Company of America, another longtime sponsor, and Walk-Ons, another longtime sponsor.
Quick story real quick. Last week with Awards Company of America, they do all of our plaques for all of our graduation. And we had a couple last-minute additions, our valedictorian, our salutatorian, as well as a couple of our kids that graduated early. And Kim Spivey was nice enough to get all of those done on very short notice the day before graduation to make sure we could properly honor all of our kids that graduated at the very, very top of the Hillcrest class.
That's great. Award Company of America does a great job. They make the plaques for us for our players of the game that we hand out at the Hillcrest Huddle every Tuesday night as well. And that's why Walk-Ons and Award Company of America share this sponsorship.
And we thank them both.
And now we get to try to make our choices. I think there's one that's pretty crystal clear on the special teams, and that would be Elijah Miller.
I agree.
3 for 3 on extra points. 2 for 2. 2 for 2 on extra points, and also a 35-yard field goal. He never let it come off his foot and not go through the goalpost.
Honorable mention to Joe Davidson for getting that hold down, but certainly with Elijah's first live action, that is a well-deserved award.
All right, now do you want to go for the offensive player of the game? What do you think?
To me, I have Jacoby as our offensive player.
I agree. I was going to say Jacoby.
To me, I think Jordan had moments, certainly. I think Caden had moments. But to me, as far as like the totality of both games,
consistency
I
too.
think that was number 5, Jacoby. Big day for him. Obviously, getting a D1 offer, but more importantly, winning, the offensive player of the game from the Hillcrest broadcast.
Right. I'm sure that's more important in his life, right?
Nonetheless, great job by Jacoby tonight, and I would agree with you, Brent.
Okay. Now on the defensive side of the ball, we had a few guys whose names we called several times. A.J. Love got in there and got a sack or two. We kept calling Miles Madden, making several tackles. Marvin Johnson. Who you got? What do you think?
You didn't mention him, and I realized he was not in on every play. And I thought number one, I thought Zay was everywhere.
Zay Hall, he was all over the place. You're right. We called his name a lot.
Even when he's not exactly following the ball, he's exactly where he is supposed to be. Drops into coverage, in support, or taking the lead role. And I realize we could probably give to Zay Hall,
he'll get it several times in the coming season,
Zay did a great job. Any of the young men you mentioned a second ago are deserving as well, though.
What do you think?
I mean, I'll give it to Zay, just because.
You got Zay?
He's so good.
You're right. He's just all over the field. He's all over the field.
I think without Zay out there, I'm not sure the rest of them have the freedom to do what they do.
Right.
Knowing you got number 1 having your back no matter what.
Right. Okay, so Zay Hall, our defensive player of the game. All right. So that's going to wrap things up for us here. I think we've got about maybe 4 or 5 more plays for the JV, and we'll let them go. But now let me ask you this. Okay, look at this.
Yeah, it's been like that the whole time.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. What are your general takes from this experience here tonight?
Lot to clean up. I think Jordan needs to especially work on when he is under pressure or when he does not have time to sit there and think through the play. I think that was the biggest takeaway. However, one of the things that stood out to me the most is when we're able to get the ball in the hands of our dudes, when we get the ball in the hands of Jacoby, when we get the ball in the hands of Caden, when we get the ball in the hands of number 11, Austin Cherry, when we get the ball in the hands of the kids we know that can make plays, we're very, very dangerous. I think Jordan's going to grow over the year. I do think especially that Florence game and that Sparkman game are going to be big for him because he's going to allow, while those games are real games, they're also non-region games, allows him to really grow in anticipation of that Week 3 matchup where stakes become even higher.
Right. True. Yeah, I would say, on the surface, if you just hear the scores of these games, you might be like, oh man, we lost. Yeah. But if you're here and you're witnessing these things, you can see all of the potential for this team and what this season is going to be like next year. I think it's pretty exciting.
Very exciting. And, such conditions where Jordan couldn't run. You mentioned early, any sort of option, any sort of quarterback, just keeper when he wants to do it. We didn't have that. And that's a huge aspect of his game, of George Champlin's game.
Of the Hillcrest offense in general,
It was with Ethan, and it was to a lesser extent with Bryson, and I think to a greater extent it's going to be that way with Jordan.
Agreed.
Winding down here, Brent, so we'll probably wind down ourselves, but we certainly hope everybody enjoyed it, and looking forward to having them in a few months listen to us in Florence.
Yep, we're going to make the 3-hour trek back to Tuscaloosa after we break this down.
Absolutely.
Which will probably take us about 20-30 minutes.
I would say if we get this broken down in 20 minutes, it's a win.
Okay. All right, but we're going to let you continue to watch the JV as they are on the field. Donald's going to swap back and forth for you. Here's a pass deep down the sideline, incomplete. And we'll come back to the offense for Hillcrest.
Once again, it's going to be Colburn under center. It is. That's number 18. Harrison Colburn on the offensive side. Certainly a name to think about in the future. And, these kids all just went through their first spring practice. Many of them are either rising 9th graders or rising 10th graders. So, these kids are real excited to get those 12 plays.
Looks like, the Hillcrest defense and Brandon offense are finished.
Correct.
So we'll probably be wrapping up in just maybe this may be the last play for the Hillcrest offense. Probably 2 at the most left. Handoff over right tackle. Let's see if that's it. Surely they were going to end on that, were they?
I'm not sure. We see Bryson still out there. Good for Bryson Kimbrough. He's still out there being the ball boy for us. I know I talked about it in between the JV game against Germantown, but that speaks volumes of Bryson's character. He's literally willing to go out there and be the ball boy for the JV game at the JV spring game.
Yeah.
And he's a Division I quarterback.
No, can we end it on a touchdown? No, it's a little bit overthrown. Let's see, is that it?
I think we have one more play.
Oh, okay.
That's just my guess.
Yeah, they're staying out there in formation on defense, so looks that way. Well,
maybe not.
No.
Bryson's not spotting the ball.
Handshakes.
Yeah, so I think that's it, Brent.
Yeah. That'll do it. All right, we're going to wrap things up from here, too. Thanks for joining us for this spring game preview of the Hillcrest Patriots. It's going to be an exciting season in 2025. Join us then as we will be on the road at Florence. What's the date?
Friday, August 22nd.
August 22nd.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll be there. Hope you can make it, but if not, join us on the Hillcrest Football Broadcast Network. That's going to wrap things up for us. Brent Jones for Baker Jones, Donald Falls, Brian Pirano.
And Brad Armstrong, who's going to be he's going to be back with us in the fall.
Right,
and I know he
right.
hates not being here.
For all of our crew, we'll have new crew members as well. We'll see you in the fall. Thanks for joining.